welcome back everyone, welcome back to another day, another qualifier I should say, of the RSL, another season of the RSL Revival StarCraft League 2025 Season 3 Korean Server Qualifier. I'm of course Josai VIP. With me I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to the second qualifier of the day. Earlier today, the third broadcast of the day actually, but earlier today we were live with the Americas qualifier, and now we've returned with the Korean qualifier. Here we go, bearing in mind that these are server qualifiers. They aren't necessarily region locked by any means, merely only by server. And here we go, we're jumping into the first game of the series, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultra Love we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner we have the Australian Zerg player, himself, as I quickly do fix up the player names. It is Ragnar. Here we go, and if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into RTVZ. Now, already, I do apologize. I don't know if you can notice, camera is fine, but in-game, you can see some frame drops here. Do apologize. Looks like we do have a bit of a rough connection here to the Korean server. After this game, I will be fixing up the VPN, and I'll be activating my VPN, I should say, and we should be able to connect, and everything should be smooth here on forward. It's just a bit of a coin flip. Sometimes the Korean server, sometimes you need the VPN, sometimes you don't need it, and today is one of those days where the VPN is going to be necessary. Yes. So bit of a feels bad, man. But again, it should be resolved after this first game. So if you're seeing some frame drops, do apologize. Just our connection to the Korean server, it should be fixed up momentarily. The next by game 2. By game 2 should be fixed up. For the time being though, 2x Reaper here out of Ryung, a hyper-aggressive start from our Korean Terran player, and we'll see how Ragnar can hold his own. Ragnar, of course, he's more of an amateur player, but he has been improving quite steadily over the course of the past year of play. Is coming in as the underdog, heavy underdog, and we'll see if he can do the first thing, which is survive the Reaper aggression of Ryung. As Reactive Reaper is going to be rallying across the map, and this is a way for Ryung to apply a lot of pressure early on and skill check his opponent. Oh boy. As we have initial queens on the way, lings are on the way as well. Live VPN, true. True. And also shout out to Kashim, shout out to Kashim in the chat. Thank you so much for resubscribing for 25 months, over 2 years of support. Likewise, thank you so much to Werehug as well for 13 months of support, over a year. Oh my god, so thank you so much. Meanwhile, the first couple of Reapers do arrive. Lings are trying to keep up, and so far the Reaper does kite well here, getting 2 Zerglings already. And with good enough control, these Reapers should never go down. The Lings should be cleaned up. With Queen support, the bases should be okay, and Ragnar should be able to drone up and saturate quite nicely, but we'll see if he ever makes lings. That's the scary thing here, is over making lings. We don't have another pair of queens on the way. We need to be droning at the moment, and unfortunately droning is a little bit delayed for Ragnar. Yeah, droning is delayed. Ooh, lings, you don't want to engage like this. You don't want to engage without your queens. Likewise, you don't want to engage without ling speed either. So drone goes down, more lings going to be going down as well. Nice goes here by Ryung. It does trade well. Dipping in towards the main. Behind this Ryung, he's getting into his third CC to have our economic transition out of Ryung. Building up, getting into his own economy, and the damage has been done here. Looking at Legion Solstad, Ryung has let to use a single unit. Meanwhile, he gets 6 lings, 1 drone. A really nice trade here out of Ryung. Likewise, Ragnar, he's overmade these lings, and he has to make use of them. He has to make use of these lings in some way, shape, or form. Likewise, we got a lot of droning to do, and we are missing our 3rd expansion as well. So a bit of a shaky follow-up out of Ragnar. Yeah, a little bit shaky here as Reaper, Hellion can now engage. With good enough kiting, we can kite well. Oh, 1 Reaper gets around it, okay. 1 Reaper gets caught out. But with additional Hellions, these lings, they won't achieve much. Okay, they should not have achieved much here. The Lings are getting roasted. Ryung can keep pushing. And back at home, what do we have to defend? We have only 2 queens. The queen count is very low here. Yeah, very low queen count, barely any Lings, which means the Hellions, they could even just go for the middle line. They just dive into the middle line. They're checking for the third base. There is none. Roach Warren now getting thrown down. Hellions, they rotate. It's a 5 Hellions. And honestly, they can just go in. They can just go in. We only have a handful of Lings engaging. Lings are cleaned up. It gets into the middle line. Drones are getting roasted. And we should kill every drone here. The slideshow packy. Let's go. Let's go. But yeah, every drone is going to be falling. There is no answer. Sure, we have the Roach Warren on the way now. We have 18 Lings in production, but the damage has been done. Yeah, 18 drones falling. Say 18 comes out. Oh, no, yes. Does find the drones. 26, 27 drones going to be falling. Brutal damage. And with that, Ragnar has no economy. Ragnar, he has no economy here. With that, so the queens are being chased down. Queens are being chased. Final drones getting picked up as well. There are spores in the bases, but that's why the Banshee's in between the expansions, catching transferring drones. GG gets called again, down to 8 workers, barely an economy, and Ryung will take game number 1. GG. Whew, GG well played. Again, I do apologize for the drop frames in game, but that should be rectified soon as I very quickly connect with my VPN. Un momento. One moment here. Just making sure we're good to go. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, we are good to go. And again, Ryung, he does take a lead, winding it back a little bit here. Unfortunately, when it comes to defending against 2-ranks Reaper, the early 2-ranks Reaper, like, you do need a little bit more experience with that to have a better response. Unfortunately, Ragnar did panic a little bit too much, delayed his queen production, overmade Zerglings, and did fall behind. Even though in the early game, not a lot of drones were killed. Ryung, he killed 1. He killed only 1 drone, he killed 6 Zerglings. The damage itself wasn't too great, but it was almost inflicted self-damage there by Ragnar just because of his response, just because of the delay droning, lack of third base, and lack of economy. So the macro did slip quite hard during that defense. That's what really set Ragnar behind. But now we're getting into game 2, and we'll see how our players do adjust here as we load into ley lines. Let's go. Let us go. Again, hopefully everything is looking a little bit smoother for us. Beautiful. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the red Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player. We have the Australian Zerg. Down in the series, we'll see if he mounts back. See if we can make a series out of this. It is Ragnar. Here we go. Laggers, is just me. That was just it was just our connection to the Korean server. As you can see here, bam. We're smooth. We're silky smooth. So I do apologize for game 1 being a little bit scuffed, and game 1 being just a little bit, I mean, less than ideal, right? Like there was a lot of frame drops, and I'm sure it was not pleasant to look, to watch, to look at. But as you can see here, everything is looking as it should be. It's just the connection to the Korean server is unreliable. So I did have to turn on my VPN to actually get a better node, get a better routing to the Korean server. Now we're good. Now we should be good for the rest of the broadcast. Feels Korean server, man. Yeah. Now we're smooth back. as it is going to be 2-rank Reaper once again. So 2-rank Reaper out of Ryung. I mean, again, it was just a really solid start. No reason not to go for it for a second time, especially if you're up against a more inexperienced player. And it's going to be up to Ragnar after one game to try to iron out that response, to again not over respond with Lings, to make sure he's on top of his queen production, to be able to drone up and feel secure enough to drone. Oh, as Ryung is doubling down. Okay, so this is not 2 ranks Reaper, this is 3 ranks Reaper. Ryung, he smells blood in the water. He smells blood in the water. He wants to end this quickly. Basically, he feels like, hold up, your defense last game was pretty shaky. Let's ramp it up. Let's ramp it up and let us end the game here and now. This is much more committed. More Reapers going to be amassing, of course, and this is going to require a much more decisive defense from Ragnar. Oh boy. Now, this is not an all-in. Bear that in mind. There's not an all-in. This typically does transition into a CC afterwards and into typically a stim timing after the initial Reaper aggression, but it's definitely on the Zerg player to to make sure he's able to get his queens up and running, to pull out of gas, get your Ling speed build up. But there are players like Ragnar, players like Shin, who is quite fond of, they are quite fond of going for Bane Bust response, to go for a Baneling all in, just because the factory production is going to be so delayed. So late Hellions and late tanks, it does allow for a Bane Bust to be a viable response. That's after the initial defense though. So far, the Reapers are trading well. The Lings, they shouldn't be here. These Lings, they're going down for free. The Queens are delayed. And I believe this is pull first, which is part of the reason for this. Yeah, the Queens are in the main base. They're not able to respond. And again, you need to bring all your Queens together to defend. Otherwise, this Queen is going to go down. Yeah, the Queen defense isn't there. The Queens are kept in the main base. We are going for a Baneling Nest. Baneling speed has not been researched though. Oof. So delayed Baneling speed, which means the early nest doesn't really achieve anything, right? Like the early nest, it can't really do much here. And once again, these Lings, they shouldn't be engaging ahead of time. Not without the Queen. We need the Queens back. And this is Snowball Guy control. Snowball Guy control with that Ryung, he's dealing critical damage. Breaking into natural, and from here there's only 2 queens remaining. At this point there should be 4 to support each other, and there's that stim follow-up. There's that stim follow-up here out of Ryung. That's all things do full, and Ryung, he should break the main. Should break the main base from here. Takes over the queens. Baneling's more thin, but they should never connect. With good enough micro. Speaking of, gets 1, gets 2, and gets the final Baneling. That final Baneling goes down, and with that, GG gets called. Ryung, he will claim the series 2-0. He will advance on to the next round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Ryung. A clean series and a swift 2-0 here. Again, as I mentioned before, if you're a little bit inexperienced when it comes to 2 ranks Reaper defense, it can be quite tricky, 100%, just because there's so much pressure on you so early on, and mistakes made early, they do have a compounding effect, and they do hurt you even more getting into a longer game as well. So a brutal start there, but we're going to be following Ryung into the next series, and let's catch up on the entirety of the bracket. Now, for the RSL qualifiers, again, we already wrapped up the Americas qualifier, and who qualified already? Hero and Bunny. If you weren't here this morning, I do recommend the VODs, but Hero and Bunny have already qualified. That's why they're not a part of this qualifier, and we have some updates already. And as a reminder, top 2 qualify. So the finals will not be played. The qualifying matches are the semi-finals. So we have Rex vs Rebellion, that's being casted, I believe, currently by Gemini. So Gemini is covering Rex vs Rebellion, that leads into Solar. We are casting Ryung versus Ragnar, which just concluded, that leads into Nightmare. So Ryung versus Nightmare is coming up next on the channel. Scrolling down, we have Percival. Percival, he takes down Prone 2-0. Percival is up against GuMiho in the next round, and we have sOs versus Triple. I believe that's being casted by CranKy, that leads into Creator. So really nice matches here, and I'm looking forward to all the specifically the qualifying matches reach out to me, right? The potential featuring of Solar versus the winner of Nightmare and Ryung looks really spicy. Likewise, GuMiho versus Creator is also looking, or even against SOS potentially, is looking quite exciting as well, just because GuMiho doesn't really play in too many tournaments nowadays. GuMiho has been less active as of late, so I would love to see some GuMiho action at some point. Would love to see it, but for the time being, Ryung versus Nightmare is up next. The reason why I chose not to get into Percival Prime is because even though I do want to cast GuMiho, I wanted to avoid the mirror matchup for as long as possible. So TVT going on there. Best of luck to GuMiho, best of luck to Percival. For now, we are focusing on Ryung and Nightmare. Here we go. Quarterfinals. Quarterfinals, Ryung and Nightmare about to face off. Just making sure we don't get left behind. We're here for the dong one, baby. True, true. So Ryung versus Nightmare is going to be up next, and whether or not we cover the upper or lower qualifying match, we'll see. I believe this should be happening at the same time, but I also don't want to tread on the toes of Gemini. Like Gemini, he's of course part of the main RSL crew. So if he does follow this into the upper qualifying match, then we'll leave him to it and we'll drop down to the lower match instead. I bet Creator versus SOS will be a lot of fun too. I think it would be, yeah, for sure. I think SOS is a very fun player, very fun. SOS and GuMiho, for sure. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. As vetoes are underway, and once they're done, we should be getting into our next series. And again, it should be a relatively short broadcast. As you can see, like, we're almost at the qualifying match. Like, we're almost there. Like, GuMiho versus Percival is already taking place, and Nightmare and Ryung is about to begin as well, which leads into those qualifying matches. Guess I'll message Kashin very quickly. Just trying to confirm. Otherwise, hope you've been enjoying yourselves. Also, Este Lunacy, baby. I saw in the chat that he was a little bit 7 minutes late. No. Would have been great to have seen Lunacy here as well. True. Would have been great to have seen him. Este Lunacy. So only 2 players qualify here, and there's no global qualifier. So it's going to be the Americas Server Qualifier, Korean Server Qualifier, and European Server Qualifier tomorrow. Just as a heads up. And then from there, players that don't quite make it through are going to be added to a list, and the patrons of RSL will be able to vote on who they want to be a part. So there's going to be a fan vote. There's going to be a fan vote. There has been in the past. So if one of these players doesn't make it through and you're a big fan, like SOS, like GuMiho, like Solar, whoever doesn't make it through, then you will have the opportunity to vote for them. And to still have them be a part of the event regardless. So there is going to be a fan vote. That just comes down to a popularity contest. That's all that comes down to. So best of luck to the players. Best of luck. I'm pretty sure SOS made it through the fan vote last time, right? Am I crazy? Let's see. So RSL Season 2 fan votes. It was GuMiho. That's SOS qualified normally last time. Who won the fan vote? It was GuMiho, Bunny, Trigger, and Zaun. I makes sense. They were those that won the fan vote. Bunny, he already qualified, and yeah, we'll see who becomes available for it. Of course, the fan vote will be after all the qualifiers finish, after they conclude. Speaking of, I'm a little bit surprised that we actually haven't seen Trigger True. Trigger, he didn't play in... There's a reason why. He doesn't need to. Sorry, I just checked. Trigger, he is already invited into the main event because of his previous performance in Season 2. So Trigger is already part of the event. Zan as well. We'll be going over all the qualified players, I guess, once we wrap up. Once we wrap up. But exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the Wikipedia page yourself. You can navigate to the main kind of like RSL page, and there you can see all the qualified players. And I believe they already have dates set in stone for the group stage as well, so it's all kind of laid out. It's a pretty tight schedule, to be honest. It's a bit I would argue that it's a little bit too tight. I think they're planning on running the main event to last 2 weeks. And I feel like they could stretch that out a little bit and let it breathe a little bit more. I don't really like the idea of rushing it, so it's a bit of a shame. But regardless, Vitas are done. Vitas are done, and we are jumping into game number 1. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Nightmare. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran from South Korea representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Speaking of, I see in the YouTube chat, is it me or was the game lagging? That was annoying. Yeah, I fully understand. I mean, imagine trying to cast a slideshow, Pappy. It doesn't feel good casting it either. That's in reference to game 1 earlier, how unfortunately there were some brutal latency issues or in-game connectivity issues. But again, like that's all resolved. It's all resolved as Ryung, he does move out across the map, and he's going in for the eBay block. Okay, so a cheeky start here by Ryung. Nightmare, he goes to the probe scout to check for a proxy at the 3rd location. He doubles back around, checking the 4th, checking the linear 3rd base before bouncing back. But by the time he does, the progression of this eBay will be too great. So a very nice start here for Ryung, as Ryung, he will delay the expansion quite heavily and might even force the unnatural natural. There we go. Take it slow, Pappy. We don't gotta rush. Take your time. It does go for the pylon. Zelda's on the way, so Nightmare, he refuses to expand at the 3rd location. He wants to try to break this position and take the natural. It's going to be a delayed natural base for Nightmare. So delayed Nexus, a couple of boys are being pulled. Does force out the Zealots. And Ryung has a pretty nice start here to game 1. Behind this is going for the factory before CC. He can't afford the command center because of the money invested into the eBay. So he's going for the factory instead. If you get the earlier cancel and the earlier refund, then you can get the CC faster. But alas, there's a cancellation. Base is being taken. And we are not going for an add-on swap. Okay. You have my attention. One base soul at GuMiho, is that you? Let's go, Ryung. Okay, so Ryung, he delays the economy, he disrupts the build of Nightmare, and he follows up with a 1 base soul in. I assumed it was going to be Rax into factory into CC. This is Rax into factory into a 2nd Rax. No command center in sight. 1 base soul in. Okay. So Ryung, he's committing, he's doubling down. Behind this, we are waiting for the Raxes. Yep, there we go. You can see the starport as well. No command center whatsoever. It's all or nothing. And what's important is that this Rax and this starport are further back. You can check the vision here for Nightmare. Nightmare, he sees nothing. He does see reactor marine, but for all he knows, there could be a CC further back. He did get quite a bit of vision though. Typically, if there was a command center, it'd be here on the right or here on the left-hand side. So seeing nothing is looking pretty suspicious. It's a very suspicious early game here from Ryung. and we'll see how Nightmare responds. He hasn't confirmed, but I'm sure this is raising questions. So far, we're getting a second gateway, third gateway. Okay, so 3 gates set up on 2 bases. Very safe play here from Nightmare. Very safe. And we should be seeing a Robo. But the push is coming. We're waiting for the medevac. We're waiting for the medevac, and then bam, Ryung, he can send it across the map. He may opt to pull some boys. And the goal here is to get on top of the pylon. Is to get the tank within range, siege up, take over the natural, and just snowball from there. There's that Robo, but again, it was a Robo after the 3rd gateway. So I don't know if this is really going to come into play, I'll be honest. Remember, this is Nartos' pylon, but we're actually, I love this. Nightmare is getting a backup pylon behind this, so the Robo will stay powered, even if the first pylon goes down. So really nice setup here from Nightmare. Already getting ready for the worst. Tank has arrived. We have a couple of boys here to repair. And the tank will siege. Yeah, tank does siege up. Does focus on the Stalkers. Oof. Yeah, Stalkers getting very low. And the lock-on is brutal. Yeah, brutal lock-on takes out one of the Stalkers. The army's moving in. Again, this first pylon will go down, but remember, there's a backup pylon. So Robo's under fire. And we're building up those Stalkers bit by bit. That Robo's not long for this world. It's going to go down as well. So no mortar production. Second tank has arrived. Ryung, he's within range of the ramp. Yeah, he's within range. Nexus is going to fall. You can see Nightmare trying to rotate around. Does he respond in time? There's a blink. There's a dive. He dives in. He gets one. Oh my god, he barely gets one. He's going to get both tanks, but at a brutal cost. He loses almost every single Stalker. Was that enough, though? Down to 4 Stalkers. Another tank is coming. Another tank is coming. Shout out to the MVP shield battery. More shield batteries on the way. Ryung, he can't lose too much. He has to buy time for the tank. The tank is the backbone of the army. Where's the Viking? Oh, he's sieging up quite far back, but he's within range of the Nexus. Here he comes. Okay, goes to the dive. Oh, he will 3-shot. At barely 2. But he'll cost him too much. You're down to 3 Stalkers. He will not save the expansion. A brutal loss there for Nightmare. Yeah, brutal loss. And Nightmare is down to 4 Stalkers. He's trying to hang on. I mean, shout to the shield batteries. Another shield battery does finish up. Ooh, bit of an overextension there from Ryung. More Stalkers on the way. Another tank has arrived. He's got Onomas. Yeah, it's a hard call to make here to siege up or not. Oof. As Ryung, he's running out of steam. Oh, the juggling though. Oh my god. The micro. Oh, saves the Viking. The Viking is so close to falling. And again, if he sieges, then we're going to see a blink. That's the problem here. Oh my god. We'll lose one more. Ah, he'll lose both Vikings. Both Vikings go down. Down to 1 tank, 2 Marines. Up to 2. Okay, 2 tanks left over. SCVs, they move into repair. Tanks can finally siege up. Just the 1. Intentionally so. Yeah, just 1 tank. Oof. Tank goes down to 3 Stalkers. GG, it is enough. And Ryung, he will overwhelm. He will break through. And Ryung, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh, also, my apologies. I'll fix the overlay. But GG, well played. Ryung, he does take the first game here. A very, very intense game 1. I do apologize for not fixing that overlay. I was just engrossed in the game, Pappy. Oh my god. But GG. GG. Whew. Very intense game 1. But again, it all began thanks to the eBay block, right? All began from the eBay. As I do have a bit of a lobby bug. There we go, beautiful. We're in. We are in. And game 2 is going to be on Tokamak. Here we go. Getting into game 2. Game 2 is going to be on Tokamak, going to be loading into a much larger map. Much larger map. Let's go. Here we go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is Nightmare. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. Here we go. Now, welcome one and all to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground, and much more defensive as well. I wouldn't be opposed to a proxy setup, by the way, so I wouldn't be surprised if Nightmare does scout for proxies just in case. Ryung, he did already kind of set the tone for the series with Game 1, but this would not be a good map for a one-base all-in because it takes so much longer to walk across the map. So it wouldn't make too much sense. Two-base all-ins can still work here. We'll see how Ryung does approach this. I should also emphasize as well that Ryung, he is known to play mech in this matchup, even on the latest patch, even after the nerf of Battle Mech. He doesn't play Battle Mech, that's why. He does play a more traditional form of a tank into Hellion Viking. We'll see if we can get there, though. We'll see if that's going to be the case. It's going to be in the back of my mind, at least, in this series, just because it is something that Ryung does whip out from time to time. So when it comes to Tokamak, I don't think this would be a bad map for mech, but otherwise we could see a greedier build instead. We could see a faster third CC. For now, Rax expand single gas opener, economic start out of Ryung, but the follow-up is what I'm most curious by. Meanwhile, Nightmare, he was unable to get into his own game. Behind this, we're expecting a standard opener. We could see 2-gate blink into a third base. Once again, because the map is a little bit larger, we can afford to cut some corners. I'm curious to see kind of like the mental state of Nightmare, whether he does cut corners or whether he feels threatened and plays safe because of what happened in Game 1. So we shall see. Oh, hello. Already spicing things up. That's a second Rax, and we're going for a 3 Rax. Okay, this is a bold build here on Tokamak of all maps. For those that are curious, this was very trendy back in 2020, 2021. It's been a couple of years. This used to be very meta back in the Side Delta map pool. I think that was like 2021, 2022, if I recall correctly. It's been a couple of years since this was meta. This is going to be a Mass Marine stim timing, a very, very potent stim timing. But there are weaknesses to this build as well, which is why this build was meta for a time and then did fall off. I'm not too fond of this build specifically on Tokamak because you have to hit that stim timing as quickly as possible. If you don't, then you kind of miss the point of the build, and the fact that this map is so large, I feel like does make this build weaker unless Nightmare cuts corners. True, if Nightmare does cut corner, if he's greedy, then this can work. The big weakness of this build, as I was alluding to, is the fact that, as you can imagine, we're going into a factory follow-up, into Starport, into add-on swap, into reactor Medivacs, and what that means is 0 tanks, 0 tank production. It means that if Nightmare were to be hyper-aggressive, or if he were to tech up really quickly into Colossus, and hyper-aggressive I would mean like 4-gate Blink Stalker, or tech up quickly into Colossus, he can punish this Mass Marine composition. If you recall back in the day, this is one of the reasons why, I mean, Colossus play was so meta and so common. Even Phoenix Colossus as well. This is back in the meta of Phoenix Colossus. But going into earlier Colossus production would be a way to just shut this down. We even saw some robo openers back in the day as well. Meanwhile, 2 more gates. 2 more gateways, so Nightmare is playing safe. He's going 3-gate blink. Robo on 2 bases. He's going for a delayed third. So very safe play from Nightmare. This is going to be good for him. Considering Nightmare, he hasn't scouted. Like Nightmare, he has seen nothing in the main base, but as you mentioned, probably because of what happened in Game 1, Nightmare is playing very safe here just to make sure he doesn't get caught off guard. He doesn't see what's going on, but he'll have the tools to defend regardless. So he does shade towards the main base. We do get a full wall. Stim is almost done, same with combat shields. There's that factory. I will say that this factory feels late. Usually we want all these upgrades to line up with the push, but we don't have the starport yet because the factory was delayed. Yeah, so a bit of a messier build here from Ryung. A little bit messy. Ooh, Ryung trying to catch out these stalkers. As he does move out. Stalkers are amassing. But again, this was a late factory into, again, a delayed starport into delayed medevac production. Ryung, he does sneak out across the map though. What is that home to defend? We have a recall and 2 stalkers. 2 stalkers. Remember, the main army's across the map, and Nightmare, he missed the move out. He stims in. Yeah, he goes for the stim, goes for the dive. There's a recall. There's a recall back home. Our probes are going to be going down. He does head straight into the main. Head straight into the main base. There's the second stim. Gets into the mineral line. This is getting out of hand, getting up to 10, 11 probe kills. 11, 12, 13 probes going down. And he wants more. 14, not quite 15, but 14 probes, not bad. And Nightmare's economy is crippled. Again, caught completely out of position. And I was concerned this was going to be late because you can see here, like, the medevacs are late, they're delayed, but he got across the map anyway. So cheeky moves there out of Ryung. He got across the map. He snuck out. Third TC is on the way. And now it's on Ryung to survive the counterattack. Remember, the big weakness of this build, no defensive tanks. Oh, and Ryung's out of position. Yeah, Ryung's out of position. Nightmare, he has the option to blink into the main. Where are we going? Nightmare is looking for the army. He finds it with the observer. Does find Ryung. Ideally, Nightmare, he wants to pick up some of these marauders. Does force a stim. Ryung, he gets one. Ooh. Does trade. Nice control out of Ryung, pulling back those marauders. Gets a second stalker and a third. Oh my god. 3, 4. 4 stalkers go down for a marine. Very nice trades out of Ryung. Again, he barely kept those marauders alive. Really nice shuffling of units from Ryung as well. Very nice micro, very nice control. As finally he's going to start losing marauders. Maybe one. There we go. One marauder finally goes down, but it costs so many stalkers. 7 stalkers for 1 marauder. Crazy trades. And now here come the medevacs. Now the marauders are healed up, and Nightmare's in trouble here. Now, what does Nightmare have? He has Storm. He rushed into Storm, not Colossus. Storms are available, and they can zone. They can buy time. Depending on Ryung's control, he can also try to bait out Storms as well. So Ryung is moving in. He's moving in. Stims forward. There's the first Storm. Gets 1 Marine. Oh, as we send in the Storms. Woodmine goes down. We have 3 more Storms in the chamber. Gotta count them. Okay, there's 3 Storms, 2 on the ground, 1 in the Prism. Prism gets spotted. Too late of a stim. Yeah, stim's too late. Ryung rotates, Observer does spot the rotation. Decent mine connection. Decent mines. Ryung, he should be aware of the drop. If you recall, he saw the Prism earlier. And the Vikings do respond. They overshoot. Vikings overshoot. Storm comes in. Oh no, the SCVs! No, they left alone! They left idle. 12 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, brutal damage. Ay, ay, ay. 12 SCVs. A nice beginning of a comeback here for Nightmare. Nightmare, he's had a really shaky early to mid game. That's why there's so much of a supply disparity, but killing 12 SCVs is a good way to come back. So the comeback has begun. But Nightmare still needs a little bit more here, just because of the supply lead that Ryung has. Ghosts are on the way. EMPs will soon be available. The ghosts are coming. Here they come. As Ryung moves out, we just see the Prism moving in. There is some supply left for him to defend. Here goes the Storm. Oof, brutal mine shots. Storms are coming in. The EMPs have arrived. And with some well-placed EMPs, Ryung can win this fight. He can break this army. He just needs to connect with the High Templar. High Templar at the stack. He's going for it. Oh, he comes in. Oh my god, brutal EMPs. 0 storms. Yeah, 0 storms left. The base is going to go down. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, we have more High Templar coming in, thankfully. More High Templar move in. They zone away the Marauders. They zone away the army. Whew. Now, Nightmare has to be careful because his High Templar are very clumped. They're very clumped. Has to be careful. Meanwhile, this is just purely a Zealot drop. This time, no storm. Ryung pulls away. And the prison, oof, gets EMP'd. Nice catching the Observer. Nightmare's moving in. How many Templar does he have? 7. Okay, 7 Templar. Ooh, good position here for Ryung. Brutal EMP here on the Zealots. But Ryung's out of position. Yeah, he cannot defend his planetary. Does force out some storms. Nice EMPs, and who catches who? Oh god, that was a kill. Yeah, that was a kill. Yeah, Nightmare. Yeah, sorry, Ryung, he was completely out of position. He lost the base. That should not have happened. Ryung is almost maxed. But Nightmare, he's had some nice moves. Killing 12 SCVs earlier, now 13. The War Prism is still alive, by the way. Prism is still there. As Ryung moves out, the Observer does let Nightmare know. And he's moving in. Yeah, he's moving in. Ryung, while we going to the base trade. He turns around. Okay, he turns back around. Does scan. There's, what, 1 storm with this army? Not even. Zealots, they get into the mineral line. Ryung once again out of position. Raises home. Kills the 4th base. And it's been impressive seeing Nightmare get these wins and have this comeback, but it still might not be enough. After the brutal starts, it's just been an uphill battle here for Nightmare. We have a couple of storms. Zealots, they do collapse on the army. You have to make up. Does it up. Does pull out. Thankfully for Ryung, 1 Stalker. Only 1 Stalker. Limited anti-air. The medevacs to get away. And here comes the main army. How many Templar? 2. 2 Templar. They're both full of energy. Scan doesn't reel them. So Ryung, he knows. Now, if Ryung can EMP those Templar, he can win the game. He can break this army. Now EMPs the Zealots, shuts down the Archon. Colossus production has begun. Does spread out the Templar. Templar, they spread. Ryung is pushing in. Oh, we have more. Jeez, he's up to 6 now. To 6 Templar. Zealots are coming for a flank. Nice EMPs. Yeah, nice EMPs, but I believe there's still another storm available. As Ryung is double expanding. Again, his economy is not what it once was. Colossus have arrived. Yeah, with Colossus, Nightmare has a big power spike. The Colossus are here. No Vikings. Viking production just now beginning. And Ryung was pretty all in. Remember, Ryung, he lost so many expansions earlier and so many SCVs. Ryung, he can't keep this up forever. He needed to end the game earlier. And he could have. But again, he was out of position 1 too many times. And with the help of Colossus, Nightmare, he's holding and he's recovering. Yeah, Ryung, he doesn't have enough. Ryung, he does not have enough. Force to pull back. 2nd starport's on the way. And the game is slowing down. And again, the problem here is that Ryung, he was playing very tempo-based. Very tempo-based. Like, he was, again, at this point, borderline all-in. His failure to kill the 4th base. Now we have a 5th. Oh, sorry. Now the 4th base is up and running here for Nightmare. And Nightmare, he's, for the first time, I think for the first time this game, ahead economically. He's in a better position. For the first time this game. Now getting his 5th. And Nightmare is hitting his stride. He's hitting his stride here. With that, we're going to be able to max out. Both players should be able to max. And what kind of compositions are we going to be working with? Okay, so quickly checking here, there's no disruptors, and there's only 2 Colossi. It's a little bit concerning. Typically, we want to go up to 4, so only 2 Colossi. So Nightmare's splash damage is a little bit limited here. It's a little bit limited. Maybe his hope is that Ryung overinvests into Vikings, but so far Ryung has 6, soon to be 9 Vikings, which is fine. Once again, Nightmare, he's ready for a counterattack. Zealots are spotted. Ryung, I think he noticed. Yeah. Ryung, this time he did notice. Spots the charge lots. Fusion cores on the way. This will be for Liberators, for Liberator range. For Lib range. And again, Nightmare, now he's up in expansion. We go 5 to 4. 5 bases, I mean, to 4 expansions of Ryung. That's up on bases. Nice CMP. First Colossus goes down. This is what I was worried about. There's only 1 Colossus left. Only 1 Colossi. Vikings, they shut it down. Storms are a little bit too late. And Storms are not connecting. Yeah, we get 1. Ooh, yeah, decent Storm towards the end. Vikings, they need to land. Or we just have to get out of here. Yeah, one or the other. As that's a lot of Vikings. There we go. They do end up landing. Nice concave here by Ryung. And Ryung, he does dominate that fight. There are 4 High Templar left. Oh, good. 4 Templar remaining. Nice feedbacks. There's still a couple of Storms. Storms, they try to be thrown down, but Ryung, he breaks through. He breaks through. He overwhelms, and Ryung, he will break the 5th, and he will take the series. Whew, denies the warp in. Again, a very intense game. GG gets called, and Ryung, he will take the series 2-0. He'll advance on to a qualifying match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very intense game here out of Ryung. He was very aggressive, very high octane. And again, Ryung, he took a lead. He took a lead very early on, able to get, what was it, 14 probe kills? It was like 12 to 14 probes with his early 3-max timing. And with that, he took an economic lead. He crippled Nightmare early on. And Ryung was almost, but barely wasn't able to kill Nightmare. He was being hyper aggressive with his aggression, with his bio army. Eventually, Nightmare did stabilize. There were some really nice moments for Nightmare where he was able to outposition, where he was able to get on top of Ghost, where he was able to go for counterattacks as well as Ryung was pushing out. Shout out to the MVP observers. The observers, they provided a lot of vision, a lot of information to Nightmare to allow him to collapse on the army or to allow him to counterattack. So Nightmare clawed his way back in, but even though both armies did max out towards the end there, Nightmare didn't really have much when it came to his main army. It was very gateway heavy. He only had 2 Colossus. He had 7 High Templar, which is nice, but when you're maxing out like this, you typically want not just your Colossus count, you want to be switching into Disruptors. The reason why is that EMPs are, of course, very effective against High Templar, against spell-based units like that, or I should say mana-based units, energy-based units, but that's where Disruptors are going to be a must. Once the Ghost count gets high enough, once the Viking count gets high enough, you need something to deter, to delay, to zone, to get that splash damage. And then in the super late game, we work towards Sky Toss. But of course, that was nowhere in sight. Unfortunately, we're stuck with a very gateway heavy composition. GG gets called. Whew. And Ryung does claim the series. And with that, let's catch up on the rest of the bracket. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed. Shout out to Nightmare, of course. A lesser player would have died a lot sooner, 100%. A lesser player would have died a lot sooner because of how much damage was dealt early on. So Nightmare, he did fight back. He did make Ryung work for it in game 2. And you can see here we have some updates. Creator takes down sOs 2-1 to advance on to the qualifying match. Ryung likewise just made it to a qualifying match as well. And we currently have 2 series ongoing. We have Solar versus Rex in a ZVZ, and we have GuMiho versus Percival in a TVT. Oh boy. Oh, the mirror matchups, Pappy. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to SOS for taking a map off of Creator. I'm very impressed there. I typically do favor Creator a little bit more against SOS, but I wasn't expecting an ace match there, so very impressive play from SOS. Likewise, Solar and Rex. Solar should be favored. Rex does have some cheeky builds though. Like Rex, he can be a very cheeky player. Like he's got some, I'll always remember like his WTO matches against Rainer, for example, with his 12 pool drone pool on the map that had 2 entrances into the main base and had a shared main. I can't quite recall the name of the map. It was an awful map, but he had some crazy builds. So never count Rex out. Likewise, GuMiho and Percival, I'm sure, is also looking to be a lot of fun as well. When it comes to coverage, I believe Gemini is casting Solar versus Rex, and I believe Crank is casting GuMiho versus Percival. I believe. Meanwhile, I have confirmation. Oh. So just messaging some players. Beautiful. But yeah, so I believe Gemini is covering the Solar series, and quickly checking here, let's have a look at where he is. Gemini. Like whether he's in game 1, game 2, or even the ace
love
match.
that. That's a great move from Rex.
Okay. So they are in the ace. Oh, they're in the ace match. Let's go. They're tied up 1-1, and we have Rex going mass muta against a more defensive Solar with Hydra play. Okay. So Rex versus Solar is currently in the ace match, which means the winner will play against Ryung. It could go either way. And that should be our next series. Should be our next series. As Solar, he's going Hydra Infestor. When it comes to Crank's channel, let's have a look here. I think Crank is streaming on... I was gonna say Chijik. Is he streaming on Soup? Oh. Why is he streaming on Soup? Wait, what? It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit odd.
다 따라오면은
Oh, he's also casting Rex versus Solar. Okay. So they're both covering the ZVZ. So we gotta chill. Oh my god, we just got an update. Wait, whoa. Percival, calm down, Bobby. Percival takes down GuMiho 2-0. I would say that is a bit of an upset. Very nicely done. I mean, I did say that GuMiho, he has been less active as of late. He has been a lot more inactive compared to all these other players, really. So we have been seeing less of GuMiho. He is maybe a little bit more out of practice. Despite that, still a really nice win here by Percival, as even an out of shape GuMiho, his best matchup, I would say, is TBT. So very nicely done. That means that the lower qualifying match is going to be Creator versus Percival. Now, I do not know which series will be casted first. I should emphasize that as well, because I believe both series will be casted, one after the other. So in my mind, it would make sense for Creator and Percival to be the first series, just because they're ready first. But it comes down to the admins, it comes down to the organizers. We will get there. I guess for now we have some downtime. I guess for now we are going to be going on a break. Because we can't start Percival versus Creator until Solar versus Rex finishes anyway, because we need the other casters, right? We need Gemini, we need Crank. Do you need those other casters? So with that, we're going to be going on a break. We're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we will have either Creator versus Percival or the upper qualifying match instead. See you soon. See you soon after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the first qualifying match of the qualifier. Welcome back to the 2025 RSL Revival Season 3 Korean Server Qualifier. We have made it here to that qualifying match. Top two players. Two players will advance on from this qualifier into the main event, and we are here to determine the first of two players. As we jump into our TVP, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Maganatha, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran. It is Percival. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player himself from South Korea. It is Creator. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our TVP best of 5. Now, very quickly, the upper match did conclude. So Solar versus Rex did wrap up, and Solar took down Rex 2-1. Solar is waiting, or is in the next qualifying match, and they're currently waiting. He's going to be going up against Ryung. So Solar versus Ryung is currently being held. We will focus on this qualifying match first, and then we'll be covering the upper qualifying match thereafter. So it'll be played out one after the other. Just as a heads up. So we are moving out. When it comes to our TVP, I mean, Percival, very impressive to see him take down GuMiho of all players to make it here to the qualifying match. Creator took down sOs on his road to the qualifying match as well. Coming into this, I do lean towards Creator, but I know that Percival has been improving his TVP quite heavily over time, over the past year of play. One of the reasons for this is because he plays so much of it, right? Currently, when it comes to online tournament play, or just tournament play in general, there are so many Protoss players out there, so Percival, he gets a lot of practice against Protoss. Oh boy. Does get a lot of practice. For now, economic opener, ranks expand. Welcome to Magnatha. Magnatha is one of the larger maps, sorry, is the largest map in the map pool, larger than Tokamak. Not as defensive as Tokamak, I will say that. As opposed to Tokamak, these bases, the 4-base setup is a little bit more open, is a little bit more accessible. When it comes to rotating in between the bases, when it comes to striking the triangular 3rd base as well, it's a little bit more accessible, so you can be more active and more aggressive, more so than on Tokamak. And my eyes are mainly going to be on Percival. Again, Percival, he is similar to all the other Korean Terrans, to be honest, except for Beyond. But Percival, he is very aggressive, he's very active. You saw how insane Ryung was in his series. Like, he was barely giving Nightmare any room to breathe. And we should be seeing something similar out of Percival here as well. For now, 1-1-1. Do have a 1-1-1. A Twilight Council opener out of Creator. We'll keep an eye on his gateways, so we'll see how greedy he plans on being. Solo winning a lot lately, carrying the Torch of Zerg to glory. Solo has been looking decent, for sure. He's been looking decent. He's been placing well. I think that's a better way of putting it, for sure. Like, he's been placing well. Like, semifinals, sort of thing. I mean, we'll get there eventually. I do favor him against Ryung, for sure. I would say that he's favored. But you can never count out the old man Ryung. True. He's an animal, man. He's an animal. But so far, we do see Percival committing into a quadruple mine drop. Okay. A quad mine drop setting up. Add-on sub, forward mines are being sent across the map, and Percival back at home, he does deny the adepts just barely, getting to his own tank production, and we'll see how much damage Percival gets done here. This is quite committed. Typically we would see 2, maybe 3 Widow Mines, but here we're committing into 4, so we are looking for damage. Medevac boosts in, and Creator, he does react. It pulls away in time. Mine just going up, killing 4 probes. And 2 Widow Mines, they barely do reload. They load up into the medevac. Oh. Hellions into the natural, getting a couple extra workers, not bad. But Creator will defend. Creator, he defends. He did go 2 Gate Blink into a 3rd base, so he went for an economic greedy build. He went for a lower gate count into a faster 3rd. And I'll say so far, Creator is in a decent position here. What I will say is that Percival, he can always go back in. Like, there's still 2 Widow Mines in the corner of the map. So he has potential to find some more damage. Creator does instantly move out. His goal should just be to contain. First tank has just now... Oh, sorry, second tank has arrived. Clutch moves out of Creator. Picks off 2 SCVs. 2 SCVs go down. Percival continuing his harass. Gets 2 probes, not bad. And Creator's going for a standard follow-up and going into charge. We should be seeing a Forge alongside this for +1, so later upgrade. But sticking with a Gateway heavy composition, and this will eventually get into delayed splash damage into either Storm or Colossus. At least it should. We'll keep an eye on the gases. My drop goes back in. Ooh. Boys pull away. Maestro going off the sentry. Not bad. A sentry goes down. A very high value target. You know, Raven harassed into the main. 3 probes go down. And the drop play continues. Just woke up from 12 hours sleep? Yo. You must feel revitalized. Ah, that sounds amazing. I would have awoken from your slumber. 12 hours. I can't recall the last time I've slept that long. Sounds beautiful. Ah. To be fair, I might sleep 12 hours today. We'll see. After the cast. I barely slept, so I'd be happy to just go to pitch. Here we go. Stalkers into the main. Zealous to reinforce. We're committing. All these SVs are going to be going down. Percival, he's out of position. Yeah, completely out of position. We're going for the base trade. Prism has a right. We're waiting for the warp in. As Percival, he does get across the map, does hit the third. Meanwhile, all the SCVs do go down. That's 20 SCV kills. Creator warping in defensively. Okay. Warps in back at home instead. And we'll see if he can defend his natural. He has a lot of force fields. He can force field. He can try to slow this down. He can slice up the army. He does pull back. Respects the tanks. Does pull away. Main base still under fire. Base out some of the mine shots. Oh, just the one. Just the one mine shots. Tanks moving forward. Which means Creator, he can collapse on this army. Getting ready for the warp in. Yeah, he's going for it. Does go for the dive. Going for the tanks. Oh, but not enough zealots. Yeah, not enough zealots here. The charge-outs were not enough. Percival, he maintains his position. And across the map, Percival, he defends. No, sure. Percival, he does defend back at home. We need more zealots. Tanks are moving in. Forcing friendly fire. A clutch move there out of Creator, but it's still not going to be enough. Yeah, Percival sims in, takes out all 3 Marauders, or Immortals even. Takes down all 3. The Zealots, the warp in, gets the tank. The tank goes down. Creator, he has 44 probes, he still has an economy. He still has an economy. He's got a shield battery as well. And Creator survives. Wow, Creator, he barely does survive. At the same time, Percival, he's rallying across the map. He has a lot of supply tied up in medevacs. He has 7 medevacs, 5 Marauders, 9 Marines. Again, most of that army supply, the soup is lying to you, Pappy. It's mainly medevac. The soup lies. Ah. And Percival back at home, I mean, he's still trying to resaturate. 2 more axes, no 3rd CC. There's usually less than 12 hours in between casts and the shower. It's very true. You're not wrong. So I can never sleep that long, man. Must feel like a new duck. So it's moving in. Oof, brutal connections. Nice mine shots. Immortal is exposed. Percival microing his heart out, getting on top of the 3rd base, forcing a cancel. Does barely force a cancel. Meanwhile, landing his own 3rd. Oh, my apologies, I assumed he didn't have a 3rd CC left over, but he did have one. Percival, he's recovering. He's back up when it comes to worker count. He has his own 3rd base. And Percival, he has been more efficient. He's been slowly building up the Marauder counts, the Marine counts. Creator, he's down to just Zealots and Stalkers. There's no power units behind this. There's no Immortals, no Colossus. Yeah, Creator's being outscaled. He's being outscaled. Oh. Oh, we're going for DTs. Forcing out a scan, but there was a scan available. GG gets called, and Percival, he will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations. Percival does take lead in the series. A very intense back and forth here between the 2 players. Between Percival and Creator. Again, ending up in a base trade of all things. At Percival, he bled out all of his workers, but he was able to trade well enough against Creator's army. If you recall, there was one big moment where he was able to get all 3 immortals. Creator, he engaged too soon, if you recall, when he did collapse in without enough zealots. So some rough fights there from Creator, and in the end, Percival did trade well enough. GG. GG, well played. He broke the 3rd base and never did allow Creator to re-expand. Never did allow. And with that, we are now getting ready for game number 2. Now, bearing in mind best of 5, right? Best of 5, plenty of games ahead of us, plenty more games to come. We'll see if Percival can keep this going. We'll see if Creator can make a series out of this. Let's go. We shall see. So we are deciding said second map. We'll get there. We will get there. And again, after this qualifier, we'll be going over like the confirmed players so far. As a reminder, we have the European qualifier as well, yet to take place. The European qualifier will be tomorrow, though. It'll be in over 24 hours. In over 24 hours is going to be the European qualifier. It's going to be tomorrow after Tuna Cup. So we're going to be casting Tuna Cup, and then that'll lead straight into the EU qualifiers. I'm a little bit tentative on whether we will cast the European qualifiers. It is going to be quite late. So we'll see. I think my big concern is I got to spend time with the bunnies. Like I usually do Tuna Cup, and that leads into letting the bunnies out, letting them roam free. It's a bit of a concern for the bunnies. And hopefully everything's okay. I see in the YouTube chat. SC Evo for life. Make it normal SC2. Yeah. Normal SC2. We should be casting some StarCraft Evolution maybe next week. This week we are pretty busy with the team league that's going to be running, with the team invitational. Gonna be very busy with that. Oh god, November is so jam-packed. We have the team league, then we have SC for all. That's gonna be the 1st of November, the 1st of November weekend, and then we have Stellarfest, which is that first week as well. Jesus. And then we have RSL. Then we have the RSL group stage. Waiting for you in the lobby. Oh! Hold on. Apparently they're waiting for me. I have no indication of that. Hold on. I have to restart my client. My bad, my bad. Yeah, for me, like, they were out of game. Like, they were just chilling out of game. I wasn't seeing any invites or anything like that. No, do they start? Ah, never mind. Well, here we go. Not ideal, but I am going to be casting from clean feed. There we go. Bam. Okay. So, unfortunately, they did begin without us. So we're going to be jumping into game number 2. Game 2 here between Creator and Percival. Shout out to Gemini. Gemini is also casting in English, and Gemini is going to be observing. And of course, showing us the lovely game. We do see Creator forsake the unnatural and natural. We do see the eBay block here at the natural base. So Creator force will expand elsewhere. So nice start for Percival. And behind this, Percival going for a CC before factory. Okay. So let's go for the CC. I do apologize, but I should be there for game number 2. Sorry, game number 3. Should be there for game 3. I just had a really weird bug in game. It wasn't even the lobby bug. It was just for me, they just appeared in menus. Like for me, I wasn't getting invited and I didn't see any lobby and I had no indication they were in game. Like it was just, yeah. It was a weird bug. I was just chilling and just waiting. Nothing happened. It's so good. Should be fixed for game 3. This Creator does catch the Reaper. But again, Creator, he is in a bit of an awkward position just because he's forced to expand in an awkward natural base, so he can be abused for that. For now, Percival, he's just playing standard. Just playing standard. Gemini said you can restream. Nice. Okay. All good. If you use Prime for subscription, does it help you? Twitch Prime is just like regular subscription, so yes, does help. Was it maybe a channel bug? No, because it was in the because on the friends list it listed them as in menus as well. Like I have them in my friends list, and there was no indication there that that they were in a game or they were in a lobby. So just the game was bugged the hell out. I've never experienced that before. But it's all good. So good to see Percival getting into his early drop play. He is moving out across the map. Creator opening up, I believe, 3-gate blink. I didn't quite see if there was a 4th gateway. Prism is on the way, so Creator, he plans on being aggressive after this defense. Drop moves in. Does get intercepted. Nice movement here by Creator. Very nice. Yeah, medevac goes down. Percival bleeding out a lot. Lock-on is broken, and Percival, he's going to be completely cleaned up. And again, depending on the gateway count, Creator, this counterattack can be brutal. He's pushing. He can reinforce, he can warp in. The Cyclone does barely survive, but that doesn't matter. What matters is what is at home to defend. There's a tank in production. I think there might be 1 tank at home. Shells to defenses, Pappy. What do we have? No tank in the main. No tank in the main base. We have 1 bunker at the natural. That tank is barely gonna pop out. Has to siege immediately. He's gonna siege up. No. Okay, does siege. Here comes a blink. Diving on the Raven, diving on the tank. Yeah, Raven goes down. And likewise, the tank barely does fall as well. Brutal pickoff. Yeah, 0 tanks in the main, going for another warp in. The prism will eventually go down. One more volley does fall, but there's no army. Here, there's 1 Marine. There's literally 1 Marine to defend. We have more Marines rallying from the natural. Tank is out to but it likewise should be pounced upon immediately, and this should deal critical damage. Oof. Tank does zone. That's still going to be 10 SCV kills. And Creator, he rotates. He just rotates. The natural base is empty. No, keep going. No, Creator. There's nothing in the natural. You can send it, Pappy. You can send it. Ah, not anymore. Yeah, as the bunkers are now full, it's going to be a bit of a trade. Still takes down the bunker. Boys are once again being pulled. And this should still be a better trade. Oh, and I say that. Yeah, these are expensive losses here for Creator. Bleeding out Stalkers. Bit of an awkward engage. As charge is still yet on the way. Creator reinforcing. It's on Creator here to contain Percival to make sure there's no drop that slips out. To make sure he does not get out. What's with the in-game score? Wait, what? That should be a mistake. Yeah, so we do see Creator dive on the main army, dive on the tanks. Ooh, takes down the medevac. There was 1 tank inside. If we can just commit, send it, keep going. Creator. He pulls away. He respects the tank quite a bit, maybe a little bit too much. He has plenty of charge lots. But looks like he wants to wait for Storm. As Creator, he does collapse in. Gets on top of the tanks. And GG gets called. Creator, he does overwhelm. And Creator ties up the series 1-1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. It does tie the series up. Again, a very aggressive follow-up here out of Creator. Unfortunately, again, Percival, he was quite committed with his early drop and he got completely shut down. Winding it back a little bit as a reminder. Sorry, as I have to... There we go. Make sure I'm able to join. But GG, well played. We are tied up 1-1. That's we can join. Should be good to go. But yes, he was very committed with the early drop. Medevac moved out, Medevac got intercepted and got cleaned up. And once that occurred, he lost a little momentum, and we had the instant punish thanks to the Warp Prism, thanks to extra gateways of a Creator. He was able to punish, get into the main base, and just snowball out of control from there. With that, GG. With that, GG, well played. We do have a back and forth series here, but again, it is a best of 5. Plenty of games ahead of us here. Plenty more to come. We're here to determine who will take a lead in the series. Here we go. And this time we'll be in game. So we'll get there. As game 3 is going to be on Persephone. Here we go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the red Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran being forced into a tie series. It is Percival. We get the fanfare. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss, the blue Protoss tying up the series 1-1. It is a Creator. Here we go. Whew. Let's go back in charge of the camera, Bobby. Beautiful, beautiful. As we are going to be settling in, again, we had a Percival going for a cheese start last game, going for the eBay block, forcing the unnatural natural, but Creator, he responded with aggression, and he was able to punish Percival in the end. This time, we'll see how Percival does deviate. For the time being, no eBay. No eBay block. There's no SCV out on the map. This time, we're calming down in the early game. We're settling into a more standard start, going for a double gas opener. Interesting. So double gas opener is going to lead into a faster factory, into a delayed CC. With this, we can go for a more tech-heavy start with faster Cyclone production, into a more committed Widowmine drop, or even leading into Banshee play. Our eyes are on Percival. So we shall see. Again, when it comes to TVP, you can be very diverse in your play. I don't know if you noticed, but game 1 we had a quadruple mine drop. Game 2 we did have the eBay block into Cyclone drop, and we can still go into Reactor Reaper Hellion. We can still go into Banshee play, Raven Harass. We can go into Cloak Banshee, Speed Banshee. I mean, Ryung showed us that we can go into 3 Raxes, true. Go into a 3-Rax sim timing. Terran have a lot of options coming into the mid game, depending on how they want to be aggressive. But we are expecting aggression. From the side of Creator, we expect to see Twilight Council into Blink. There are some times where we can see like Stargate openers or Robo openers. These are very niche builds though, and quite rare nowadays. And quite risky. Very map dependent more often than not. Side Delta. Persephone does have a relatively short rush distance by air, so we have seen players like Hero, for example, be quite fond of Stargate openers here, but I feel like Creator should just be going for a Twilight Council. For now, Sentry follow-up into Sentry Scout into Hallucination. Oh, that is not a Stargate. That is not a Twilight Council. Robo opener out of Creator. Okay, let's go. One probe does full. Nice pick off here with the Reaper, but does not scout the tech. Now with a Robo opener, this leads typically into faster Bay, into faster Colossus production. I say typically, we can go for a War Prism first, of course, to apply pressure early on with extra Gateway units, with extra Stalkers and Adepts. So we could see early harassment, of course. This can lead into early Immortal production if there is an aggressive build coming his way. So if he does take note of an all-in, for example, you can start early Immortals. And again, should lead into the base, should lead into Colossi. Should. This is typically considered to be a more defensive build. Yep, we go, Immortal production has begun. But the reasoning for this is because you are lacking any map control. Aside, compared to, say, a Twilight Council opener with Blink Stalkers, you don't really have Blink Stalkers to maintain map control, to hunt down Medivacs, and to deny drop play. Same with Stargate and Phoenixes. Phoenixes, they have the same role, where they also shut down Stargate, sorry, they shut down drop play, they shut down any kind of map control that your opponent has. Robo doesn't allow for that. As the drop does come in, the Immortal has arrived. Mind Shot going to be going up here on the Stalker. A nice pick up, nice catch. Stalker goes down. Marines, they go for the mineral line, but the probes, they pull away in time. So Creator, he does defend. So far, so good. And the drop does reveal the Robo. It does reveal. Creator is going for a Twilight Council follow-up. Interesting. This can lead into early charge. It can lead into delayed blink. But we have chosen to go for the Twilight Council, not for the Bay. Not for Colossus. Not yet. As Percival did go for earlier tank production. He's already getting a third tank up and running. That's a lot of tanks early on. As we mentioned, yep, there's charge. And if Percival were to commit into a 2-base all-in, then Creator, he would have the tools to defend. Going Robo Immortal into charge is a very safe way to play, and I feel like it's meant to go up against these 2-base tank pushes and 2-base tank all-ins. But we'll see how this all comes together. Observers moving into scouts. And the Observer does spot the army. We're stopping at 3 tanks, but here comes the push. And Creator does spot it. Yeah, he spots the move out. Creator, we need warp-ins. He's supply blocked. Now's not the time. He's supply blocked. 69 out of 70. Creator, we gotta warp in. Pylon's now being thrown down. He cannot warp in. Percival, he's coming. And Creator, he has to buy time. He has to buy time for the pylons. You can see Creator is banking up 600 minerals. Like, he has to spend his money. There it is. He is warping in as quickly as he can. Again, a brutal supply block. Tanks are pushing in. A little bit of harass into the natural. Drop it to the main. Charge on stage. Try to get on top of the tanks. They trade well against the Marines. Okay. So far, so good. Creator, he's holding. Ooh, okay, Creator, he cleans up the drop, he cleans up the Liberator, and he does shut down most of those Marines. He deters the push, and Percival does race back home. Unfortunately for Creator, he does not kill the tanks. All 3 tanks survive. And that's important here. So Percival, he escapes with the majority of his high-tech army. Banshee moves out to harass. 3rd TC is on the way. Percival is expanding. He's not going for an all-in. He was quite committed, but he doesn't really get punished too hard. Creator jumping into the main. Again, trades well against the Marines. It's what, 5-6 Marine kills. Creator pulls out. There's no cloak for the Banshee. One more volley. Oh. Oof. The Banshee does not get away. That was a pretty big investment here. 1 Banshee for 2 probes, not quite worth it. And here comes a Colossus. Colossus at the same time as Storm. Jesus, this is quite greedy. This is very gas intensive, I should say. Going Storm and Colossus at the same time. Typically ill-advised, as this could otherwise be invested into a 4th base, into extra gateways. Ooh, Percival does drop into the main. He's going for the Templar. Nice pick up. He gets 1. Templar goes down. Creator out of position. Please out a couple of Stalkers. He does not have Blink. Yeah, brutal losses there for Creator. Brutal losses. Losing 4 or 5 probes. Losing 5 Stalkers as well. Creator, he's hurting. Now we get the 4th base. Again, a little bit more delayed here for Creator. And Percival is getting ready for his move out. And this army is looking quite terrifying, to be honest. A lot of Marauders, Marines, the tank hand is still healthy. Ghost Academy is on the way. We're waiting for Ghosts. And Percival, he's going to turtle up. He's getting a 4th CC. Okay. Not quite what I was expecting. Percival taking a more defensive stance. Creator, he's double expanding. You can see he gets his 5th base as soon as he sees the 4th. Sorry, moves out. Creator does try to catch him. Nice Storm. Percival, is he aware that that was a little bit suspicious? Is he aware of the Observer? No scan. Moving into the third. Nothing major. 3 probes. 3 probes do go down. Wouldn't mind shot here into the natural. Creator. Oh my god. Whew, does pull away in time. A defense. Creator, he does defend. There's still supply left in the main base to deal with the drop. 4th base is now landing. And the Creator, he will soon be maxing out. Likewise, so is Percival. Now, when it comes to the main armies, if you recall, we were criticizing Nightmare's composition in his series against Ryung, where he did max out, but he was stuck with a very gateway-heavy composition. Here, we are actually incorporating Disruptors. There are 3 Colossi, there's 4 High Templar, Disruptors now on the way as well, so Creator is having a more well-rounded army. More high-tech. I mean, he also has the... he's also in a more comfortable game state where he does have a 5-base setup. Something that Nightmare struggled with. Yeah, Creator is maxed. It's maxed out. All of this will come down to the engagements, it will come down to the army control. The Novas, the Storms, the positioning. Goes both ways. First of all, likewise, he has plenty of Vikings. We have 10 Vikings so far. Meanwhile, we have a second Robo on the way for double disruptor production. Creator breaks in. Kill zones. Okay, not the best engage. Breaking a 4-basing player can be quite difficult here on Persephone. Drop into the main. Get a decent EMP. Oh! Over this crazy army. Prison doesn't manage to warp in. Ay. And you see what I see? Stargate. Stargate is on the way. That's indicative of what? Indicative of Skytos. Fleet Beacon into Skytos. We're gonna be here for a while, aren't we? We're oh boy. Strap yourselves in. At least Creator is getting ready for the late game. Speaking of late game, we do have a fusion core into what? Into Liberator range. So Percival is also gearing up towards that late game. +1 ship weapons. We're getting there. There's that Fleet Beacon, Dark Shrine. Creator getting all the tech. From here we should be starting +1 air attack on the Cyber Core. And getting another pair of Stargates. Otherwise, this might just be for a mothership. Just be for the mothership initially. Creator going for a bit of a run by. Yeah, we got 2 Zealots. Let's go. There it is, motherships on the way. Now, because Creator isn't getting +1 air attack, because he isn't getting additional Stargates, because he's only getting the Fleet Beacon from a mothership, this feels like a recall into the main. This feels like a recall into the main base situation. Scan does reveal the mothership that's morphing in. So Percival knows. He knows what's going on. He already has a couple of turrets. Throws down 2 more starports. Goes off. Speaking of, brutal volley here with the Vikings. Nice storm. Another Nova does barely not touch the army. Doesn't quite connect. Creator getting ready for a flank. But it's a bit of an awkward army here. Both Colossus getting caught out. Massive pickups here with the Vikings. Storm does land. But Creator, he needs those Novas to connect. The mothership is almost out. Nice catch on the Liberators. Guess who? Sound 2 Liberators. Tempest production has begun, but it's only 1 Stargate. Mothership is out. Oh, hello. Ghost is moving in. TT harassing on the right. Mothership is with the main army. No recall yet. These Helson DTs, they're being annoying. In a head-on fight, currently at least, I think I still do favor Percival here. I'm not too convinced with the higher Zealot count and less Disruptors. Well, some other ship does add some complexity. So we're going for the nuke. Does create a notice. Does he? Uh-oh, he doesn't. No, no! Pulls away just in time. Whew. Doesn't lose anything. And clutch moves out of creator. Nice snipe of the High Templar. Oh, nice. Multiple snipes, actually. Okay, 2 Templar. Never goes up. Ooh, brutal connection. Thanks for the ghost. Nice. Liberator does move in on the right-hand side. DT's on the right, but not enough to our Templar. Just blink away. Creator does catch up part of the army. At the same time, Percival takes down the gold. We got 1 Tempest. Like, this is a very messy composition here for Creator. The 1 Tempest. We got the 3 Disruptors. Again, still very gateway heavy. Meanwhile, Percival, he's a little bit more refined, building on more Vikings, building on more Liberators. Now, you can make an argument that Percival, he's overmaking Vikings. He's getting up to 18. 18 Vikings, considering that this isn't a proper switch to Skytoss. Like, again, Creator, he never got a second Stargate. Nuke lands. No reaction. Oh. Not bad. 6 probes go down. Ghost does go back in. Making 2 more nukes behind this. Oh, and Percival, he can just bully Creator at this point. Once we, how many Liberators? 8. There's 8 Liberators. Usually when the Liberator count gets up to critical mass, how does the Protoss deal with that? How do you deal with mass lib? Tempest, right? Typically Tempests are the answer to mass lib, but there's only one. Right, as we were trying to emphasize, there's only 1 Stargate. Only 1 Stargate, only 1 Tempest. Mass EMPs. Going for the zoning nuke. So the army does collapse in. Nuke is denied. Vikings a little later as well. They stand in the storms. Oh my god, the Vikings! They stand in the storms, and Creator, he dominates this fight. Shuts down the Vikings, gets under those Liberators, and Creator is just nobling out of control. Ay, ay, ay. Again, brutal storms. Brutal engage. And Creator, he's just going to keep going. He has to keep pushing from here. Just snowballing out of control. Wins the fight, takes down the expansion, and he can just keep going. Going for the kill. Just reinforcing with Mass Stalker. Let's go nuke on the army. Will zone. Oh my god. Does cancel in time. It gets cancelled. The Liberators have arrived. Getting in position. Here comes the last Freedom. Yeah, Freedom is here. Oof. And you can see in a proper head-on fight, Liberators, they can just punish this ground army quite well. The liberation zones are brutal if they're in position. Zena's got to kite back. These Liberators are a little bit too far back here. But a much better fight for Percival. He holds, he defends. Yo, we're making one Tempest at a time. Let's go. Let's go. And again, Percival just needs more Liberators. Needs all the freedom. Creator, he rotates. He does get one, does get two Liberators, so left behind. Nice catch out of Creator. Never goes off. Brutal connection. Never goes off very low. And we're trading bases. Trading expansions. Creator gets a planetary. Percival stimming in, gets the Colossus. Colossus does arrive in time. Does defend. Creator, he's holding. He's holding, he's counterattacking. Liberators left idle. Delayed to siege. And he'll lose everything. He'll barely lose everything. And Creator, at this point, has he finally done it? He's switching into the bases. We have Mass Viking. That's not going to help. He gets in. He gets into the bases. Percival, he barely has a standing army. He's got Vikings, but they take down the Tempest, they take down the Colossus. That's all they can get. And a very messy game. Very messy. But Creator, he got there. He got there in the end. Was able to get under those Liberators. Again, we saw that decisive fight here at the third. The triangular third. Able to get the Liberators, storm the Vikings, zone back the ground army. It's a very impressive engage there from Creator. And Percival, he is down to 17 SCVs. Barely an economy. 17 SCVs back. Percival, we just can't build up. He can't max. Not anymore. He's broke back. DT's blinking in. Percival getting called out. Creator does pull away. Creator, he pulls away. He still has better mining, a better economy. He's heavily oversaturated, but he has more bases in production. And Creator, he should be the first to rebuild. Like, the supplies are still very clutch and very close. But with the boosted economy, Creator, he should be able to build back up. We'll see. It's still quite intense. This Creator, he really only has Storm. He's got one Colossus in production. Shocking around. His 2-eyed Templar are in the War Prism. So he's got at least 2 storms. Creator pulling away. So far, tries to down Brutal Storm. Yeah, Storm connects. Colossus is out. Creator, he's holding. And we spoke about it earlier. Creator, with his superior economy, he should be able to rebuild faster. And as time goes on, that is the case. Creator building up his forces. Now able to afford 2 Colossus at a time. The Viking count that was once there, non-existent. Down to 0 Vikings. And you can see Creator just leaving Percival behind in terms of supply. Oh no, gets a full medevac, brutal pickoff. Ah. Yeah, now Creator, he might just be able to go for the kill. He's built up the army. So goes High Templar ready. We do see Percival attempting to expand. Creator, he rotates. He's going for the CC. We'll get it. Liberators are moving in. Ooh, we cannot engage within range. And Creator, he has to pull away. The CC does survive just barely. One more volley would have been enough. Oh, he wants it. Creator, can he rotate? Ah, not in time. Almost. Yeah, he almost gets here in time, not quite. Percival, he's surviving, but Creator, he's almost maxed. He's almost maxed out. As we mentioned, the superior worker count of Creator, I mean, it allowed him to bounce back faster. That's why merely moments ago, both players were at 100 supply, but very quickly that changed. It did change. There was more pressure on Percival to be aggressive and to be active. Failed to do so. I mean, he was trying, he was going for job play, he was asserting himself in the center of the map, but couldn't quite break through. And Creator is maxed. Creator, he's maxed out. He's being very tentative. Creator, he doesn't know how far ahead he is, but he should be trading at this point. At this point, he needs to trade. Ooh, kills the CC. Diving on the left-hand side. Catching out another Liberator. Another Liberator does go down. And Percival, he's still on, what, a 1 base economy. There's no mining here at the 3rd base. There's 1 patch at the natural, nothing in the main. We got 3 patches here at the 3rd. At the 4th even. It's really just bottom right. Just bottom right. Oh, nice counterattack. So we have another CC floating over. Recall was just used, bear that in mind. So I'm loving this run by here, I'm loving this counterattack from Percival. Does hit center left. Creator is out of position, does he react or does he push? What's the plan? Base goes down. Nexus falls, Creator, he's going for the center CC, he's trading 1 base for another. And this hurts Percival more. Yeah, down goes the orbital, brutal pickoff. Creator, he has defensive warpins, catching out 3 Liberators. Oof. 3 libs go down. And as we mentioned, again, Creator, he can afford these losses. Percival, he's down to still that 1 mining base. None of the Vikings. Oof. Vikings overextend. Again, Percival, he's migrating his heart out. Ah. The hopium is real. But it can only take you so far. And here we go. Here comes the main fight. Here comes the main army. Creator, he can just break through. He can A move that. Get A move in. GG gets called. And Creator, he will take the lead in the series 2-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Creator, he does take a lead in the series. Again, in the aftermath of the initial clashes, we saw the Creator had a massive worker advantage. As we were saying, the supply is deceiving. The soup lies, as both got knocked down to 100, but Creator, he had what, triple the worker count? He had a very, very nice worker lead. He was just down in bases. He was able to rebuild and then quickly recover. Percival never did. He never was quite able to recover from said mid game. And with that, GG, well played. A lot of it did also, before any of that, a lot of it came down to the massive fight at the third, if you remember. We had that massive clash where we had the Liberator set up from Percival, where he was pushing him with the nuke. We saw that he, unfortunately, was a little bit out of position. He wasn't able to make full use of those Liberators, a little bit too far behind, a little bit too far off to the side. And we saw that Creator, who was able to take a very dominant fight, if you recall, where I want to say that Percival, he plummeted like 80 supply. It was something crazy like that. That was the moment where he took the storm to the face with his Vikings, took the storm to the face, lost the Liberators, and everything very quickly snowballed out of control. GG. GG, well played. From that moment, Percival, he never quite recovered. But now we're getting to game number 4. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Torches, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran. The Red Terran himself, down in the series. Can he bounce back and force the ace match? It is a Percival. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss himself. Leading the series 2-1, one game away from advancing on to the main event and qualifying for RSL Season 3. It is a Creator. We go. Whew. Again, last game was pretty intense. We saw Creator go for a Robo Opener as well. Was outside the norm. Likewise, Percival, he did play towards the later game as well, getting into Mass Liberator. Wasn't a bad setup, but came down to the execution. As we are going to be opening up Double Gas. Double Gas to open out of Percival. Welcome to Torches. Torches does have a very short rush distance by air, so drop play alongside drop harass or even air harass can be very effective here on this map. Quite effective. Likewise, the area in between the natural and third base can be abused as well. This area here on the low ground goes both ways. And our eyes are going to be on Percival here. Our eyes are on Percival. From here, going for the CC. There's no crazy, like, Ryung style one base all in. Not this time. And we'll see what the follow-up is going to be. For now, just opening up Reaper Hellion. Once again, 2 games in a row, Robo Opener out of Creator. I do like this on Torches. We mentioned earlier, Torches has a shorter rush distance by air. In general, aggression is favored on Torches, so going for a Robo Opener into early charge, it's a really safe way to play. Very safe. Especially if you're assuming that your opponent is going to be hyper aggressive, if not borderline all in. We saw this did work out well for Creator in the last game. And looking to do the same thing here. Again, the downside is that Creator's army is not going to be very mobile for quite some time. Does dive in. No force field. It does go for the mineral line. And how many probes? How many probes can he bring down? Boys are being pulled into Hellion Fire. Yeah, brutal shots, brutal splash damage. 6 probes. Oh god, 6 probes go down. 9 probes. That's too much. That's too much. That is brutal damage. Critical damage. 10 probes go down. Against what was meant to be a safe opener, but there was an opening, and again, there was no force field. No force field with the sentry. He opted to go for the hallucination. I mean, he scouts at least, but too little too late. Yeah, the damage has been done. Oh, that is interesting. So Percival, he started things off with Reaper Hellion, and as you can see here, he actually goes off of tank production. He does go for the add-on swap, really fast stim. Really early stim here out of Percival. This is going to be a much earlier timing attack. Tank production now going to be commencing after stim has begun. This is not normal. It's not orthodox. We're going for what looks to be yeah, an earlier 2-on-1 timing here with stim. In the lead up to it, Percival does go for the drop. With this timing, he has the option to pull the boys. That's not the option. Oh, Jesus. Has to be careful. The Liberator's on the way. Yeah, he's going to rally everything at this point. He should be pushing with his first tank. Now, against these early tank pushes, I do typically favor the player that did open Immortal Charge. I'm getting ahead of myself here. There we go. Charge is still halfway done. But I'm going to be favoring, I would typically be favoring Creator if he didn't lose 10 probes, right? Like, losing 10 workers is brutal. You may look at the worker count here and be like, oh, but Creator, he's up in workers. Well, he had to replace all those workers. He should be further ahead. He should have a higher worker count. He should have a faster third base as well. Everything was delayed because of that economic damage. So Creator, he's worse off than he should be. Stim is almost done, and here comes the push. And it's going to be hitting with the first tank. Observer does spot the move out. Critical that Creator does try to engage ahead of time. Creator, he didn't see the add-on swap, but he should take note of just the one tank. Creator, he responds. He knows where the army's coming. Liberator is going to be dealt with. That's 2 probes. He's trying to rush in, but he doesn't have enough zealots. Yeah, zealots are going down, and Percival, he breaks through. Percival, he breaks through. He overwhelms. Not enough charge lots. This does delay the push at least, but now we're up to 2 tanks. And remember, there's no blink. Tanks to siege. They're a little bit late. Meanwhile, diving on the tanks. Nice target firing on the stalkers. And Percival, he breaks through. He breaks through the stalkers, breaks through the immortal. Colossus arrives just in time. Oh my god, saves the immortal. Oh my god. And Creator does save it. And Creator, he barely holds on. Just barely. Again, clutch micro saving the immortal. The Colossus also arrived just in time as well. And Creator, he survives. Again, a lesser Protoss would have died then and there. That would have been game. Because once they lose the army, they lose the base. So Creator, he survives. Percival rotating into the main base. Creator back at home. He's in position. As Creator's army is split. Ooh, tempted by the Colossus. He gets tempted. Creator does hold. And from here, the game will continue. Creator saturating his third base. Meanwhile, Percival landing his own. I will say the Creator, he's still not in a he's still behind economically. Still behind, I mean, because of the earlier losses. So a bit of a later fourth base. Creator still needs time to recover. That is a second starport out of Percival. Going into Mass Viking. Hallucination confirms a base. First, we're shocking around. Just buying more time, building up more Vikings. Currently, there's no other form of splash damage. There's no Storm, there's no Disruptors. Speaking of, there it is. Temple Archives now on the way. Creator, he needs time for Storm. Needs time. Once again, we're looking for the Observer. It's still barely out of range. He's looking, man. He's looking. Unfortunately, there is no Observer here in the center. There's a spot of Stalker. And Creator, he is aware. Storm only just now began. Of course, Percival doesn't know that. He does break in. Percival does that position, takes out one Colossus already. Yeah, takes down one, knocks down the expansion, and Creator, he just cannot keep up with this. Lose the base. Again, he's been playing catch up for quite some time, and he's still trying to catch up. How many Vikings? 12. Oh my god. 12 Vikings, that's crazy. Brings down the Colossus. Liberator production has begun for Percival. Nice catch here from Creator. Picking up a couple of Marauders. At the same time, very nice Run-by. Nothing at home to defend. 12 SCV kills. Yeah, 12 SCVs going down. But Creator cannot fight head on. Yeah, cannot take that fight. Takes down 2 Ghosts. More Zealots rallying in. And ideally, Creator, he wants Percival to race back home. Zealots are trading well, getting another Ghost. But Percival is still pushing. Yeah, he's still moving out. 20 SCV kills. He's still going, by the way. More SCVs. Percival. His defense back at home not good enough. We're still losing workers. Oh my god. Liberator goes down. 26 SCVs. The Zealot is still going ham. 28. 28 SCV kills. Critical damage. And Creator takes the lead. Creator takes the lead. Again, MVP Zealot Run-by on the right-hand side. Ay, ay, ay. That should not have happened. Yeah, and with that, he overwhelms. He just overwhelms the army. He takes over the low ground. Takes down the CC. And Percival, he's falling apart. And he was in a good position before any of this happened. When the armies were clashing on the left-hand side, like, it wasn't bad at all for Percival, but... Again, he had no reinforcements back at home. His reaction was lackluster. He didn't pull the SCVs away. He didn't give it too much mind. And Creator, he's done it. Let's go. Este Creator. And GG gets called. The writing is on the wall. And Creator, he does bounce back. He does take the series 3-1. Qualifying for the RSL Season 3 main event. GG. GG, well played. A very intense back and forth here, even though the series score was 3-1. Again, a lot of these games were very clutch, very close. I'm thinking of the game on Persephone. I'm thinking of the game here on Torches as well, where Percival, he did have some strong moments, did have some strong games, just barely was unable to close it out. And Creator was able to recover, bounce back, and bring it home. GG. GG, well played. Part of it, of course, is experience. Again, Creator, he's been an active pro player for a very, very long time. Percival, he's relatively, newer to this level of play. Of course, he's also been around for many, many years, but less so compared to Creator. And Percival, he's still on that rise, right? He's still on that rise. He still has been improving. And again, he's been improving quite steadily and quite impressively over the past year. Over the past at this point, what, 10 to 11 months. It's been really impressive to see Percival's growth over 2025 to the point where, hey, we've seen him regularly take down some big names. Even in this qualifier, who did Percival beat? He beat GuMiho, right? He beat GuMiho earlier in the TBT. So really impressive play here by Percival. And Percival, he will also be one of those players that may return for the European qualifier. Bearing in mind, these are not region locked qualifiers, these are server qualifiers. So if he so chooses to, he could ruin his sleep schedule, could ruin it, stay up and play in the EU qualifier as well. It's on Percival, it's on Percival. So we might see his return in the European qualifier. Otherwise, GG. We are now getting into the final qualifying match of the broadcast. It's going to be a best of 5 between Solar and Ryung. Let's go. Let us go. We have our ex-teammates. As of course, Solar, he at one point was on Team Vitality. Catching up. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Dropship Magic in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. Thank you, thank you. Ay, papi chulo. Hi, papi. Hi. Bringing the best SC to the plebs. Hope you enjoy, papi. Hope you enjoy. To the people, to the people. So here we go, Solar versus Ryung. Coming into the series, Solar is going to be the favored player, but I mentioned this before, you can never count Ryung out. Like Ryung, he always has these moments of brilliance. Ryung, you can make an argument, has the best TVT in the world, for sure, and of course, a lot of that skill does translate to the other matchups. When it comes to his TVZ, he is a one that does not shy away from mech, of course, but also does like to embrace his bio play, is often very aggressive, often has a lot of timing attacks as well, so we'll see how Ryung does approach Solar. We should be seeing some 2-rack Reaper openers as well. We saw that against Ragnar, could see that as well against Solar. Let's go. But again, congratulations to Creator. Congratulations. Este Creator. As we are still conducting vetoes. Jumping into the game. Looks like Vito's done. Game 1 is going to be on ley lines. Quickly double checking here. Looks like game 1 will be ley lines, game 2 pylon, followed by Tokamak, Maganatha, and torches. Interesting. We actually left some of the more extreme maps. When I say extreme, I mean map size specifically. Of course, I got rid of Lost Fantasy, Incorporeal. But here we go. Go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran setting out 2 SCVs across the map and going for a proxy 2-racks. Let's go. It is Ryung for Team Vitality. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Remember, Ryung, he did cheese the hell out of Nightmare. He cheesed Nightmare out of the qualifier. Can he do the same to Solar? Let's go, as the Raxes are on the way. Again, it is going to be a Marine bunker rush at the natural. We'll see how Solar does react. We'll see how he does respond. Oh boy. As the first overlord is being sent across the map, the second overlord should be checking here outside of the bases. Again, it is standard to keep your second overlord outside of your natural to get eyes on the bunkers as the SCV moves in. So Solar, he should be able to react in time. The question becomes, how does he react? Again, if it's 2-racks or 3-racks, does require different responses. Can be at times hard to delineate between the two. Let's go. So we are building up. Okay, we're holding off for those SCVs. Eventually, we should be moving in for set bunkers. It is hatch gas pool, standard opener out of solar. Also, I should emphasize this is not all in. This is not an all-in, right? This is not an all-in. This is an aggressive start that is true, but it leads into an expand back at home. This is meant to maim. It's not meant to kill. So here we go. Here come the bunkers. Oh, third he rallies a third SCV from across the map. Really cheeky play here. Boys are being pulled, but the third SCV makes it look like he's 3-waxing. Yeah, it does make it look like it's. Overlord is getting caught out. Boys are being pulled. That will save the Overlord. Yeah, clutch moves. The Overlord should have otherwise died. The Overlord will be saved. So far, just one drone kill. No major damage. Spine crawlers are on the way. And that first bunker, I believe, is within range of that expansion. Yeah, the hatchery is within range of the spine. Oh, good. Yeah, spine crawler is not going to finish. Brutal pickup. Ay, misplaced spine crawler. The other spine is under fire as well. Yeah, Lings are too far back, and the spines are being denied. Brutal damage here. Dust Force are canceled. Marines are not surrounded. This is getting out of hand. It's very quickly getting out of hand here. Solar has been droning. The queens are low. One queen has a transfuse. Will soon have a transfuse, I should say. And the hatchery may just go down. I mean, without spines, like, how do you defend this? You don't. Yeah, he'll have to evacuate. Oh, brutal. Brutal damage. Hatchery goes down. And remember, this is only 2 racks, not 3. This is not meant to get that much damage. He wants a queen. Doesn't get it. Yeah, barely not. Spine crawler does burrow. No transfuse. Not enough energy. Oh. And Rian, can you just walk up the ramp? Like, the queens are out of position. He can just walk up there. Oh, God. Okay. Did transfuse. Queens are transfused. They're on full HP. And Ryung, he's going to be deflected. Thank God. Thank God. He's deflected. And here he's just containing. He's just containing Solar on one expansion. Behind this, there's no Roach Warren. There's no Lair. There's no gas income. Solar, he pulled out of gas. He has nothing. Solar, he has nothing to threaten. And Ryung can just chill. He can just get his CC up and running. He can get his factory. Ryung is looking very comfortable. Yeah, link speed is done. They got 1 Marine. 2. I believe 2 Marines did go down. Spine Crawler falls. No transfuse. Once again, there was no energy. And Solar, he has to invest so much into breaking out of this contain. And back at home, all we need is a pair of Hellions. And the reactor is coming. Reactor is coming. We do have the Rack Scout into the main base. He confirms no Lair. What does that mean? No Nidus. No Nidus play. No second gas. No Roach Warren. Baneliness is confirmed. He confirms it is going to be a Bane Bust counterattack, which means Hellions is all he needs. I'll be shocked if Solar can win this game. Like, he should be dead here. Like, there's no shot. There's no shot. But we'll see. Hellions are coming. Just needs the Hellions, man. Solar, he will eventually break out. That's also why Ryung is evacuating. Does break out. He's up the bunkers. Does want to waste his banelings there. Yeah, it does spend banelings. Hellions are amassing. Banshees are on the way as well. Again, Ryung, he knows he is safe. I should say he knows what's coming his way. Knows that there's no hidden tech, there's no lair. Yep, Hellions are out. And the Lings do nothing. Like, they can do nothing against these Hellions. Ryung, he will establish his natural. Solar still trying to expand. He's double expanding. That's how far behind he is. Ay. And it's going to be a rough road to recovery here for Solar. We have to be creative. So Solar, he's rushing into his lair. There's no extra gases. He can't really afford gas. He can't afford anything. I was going to say, like, I was going to try to theorize that, like, could we maybe try to sneak out a Spire? The answer is no. Like, there's no economy for that. Could we maybe try to go into, like, a Nidus-based all-in with, like, Link Queen Nidus? Like, maybe. Gases are being taken. Upgrades are on the way. Solo, it looks like he's trying to mac around with this. Now, the best that Solo can hope for is Ryung making mistakes. Okay. If Ryung overextends, if he overextends onto creep with these Hellions, if he gets himself surrounded, then maybe. If he is late to take his third, but he isn't. But if he was like stuck on 2 bases a little bit longer, if he was a little bit too overly concerned with defending on 2 bases, then maybe. Banshee pulls away. Hellions have to be careful. Ooh, one Banshee goes down. Speaking of overextending, Banshee's thrown away. So that was a better trade for Solar. Sniping a Banshee. Sniping a Hellion. And again, these are things that should not be happening. These are small overextensions from Ryung. But the eventual bio tank push is going to be terrifying. Okay, speaking of getting creative. Borrowed Banelings. Like, these are things we need to do. Like, borrowed Banelings with, like, the most Hail Mary juicy connections. Maybe, right? Maybe. Cutting workers early just to deal with this army as well, potentially. This base should not finish. Ryung is moving in. This is a bit of an early push for Ryung, but, I mean, it is well timed to deny the 4th. Dives on the queens, gets 1. One queen goes down, does force a cancel. Bailing speed is done in 10 seconds. Nice target firing, gets 1. It's 1 bailing. Ooh, no react hit, doesn't react, does not pull away. Bit of miscontrol there by Ryung. Yeah, it does miscontrol. And with that, Solo, he takes the best fight he could have. As Ryung getting a reaction. But he's still ahead. So again, that's the best fight Solo could have hoped for. He connected well, cleaned up the buyer, he got the first tank. At this point, I don't know if Ryung needs to keep pushing here. He scans, he sees a decent army. Ryung, he kites back, he's gonna be so careful, he has to respect those Banelings. Yeah, Lings get a full surround, and Ryung, he will lose these Marines. Oh, never mind. Oh. Nah, they stand their ground. They stand. Never mind, Bappy. The power of the Marine. Let's go. Yeah, without Banelings, the Lings, they cannot engage. Banelings, they get spent on the Hellbat. 1 Hellbat barely survives. Ryung, he does it. Yeah, he does break him here. I thought that maybe he was being overly aggressive, but he's just rallying. He's just rallying everything across the map. He's parade pushing. He knows that he has done it. Stims in, GG gets called, and Ryung takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Ryung does take a lead in the series. Again, a very cheeky build out of Ryung. Ryung, he did actually rally a 3rd SCV from across the map, making it look like he was 3-raxing to force a bit of a different response. Of course, he was able to fully wall off that natural as well, and we saw some misplaced spine crawlers. Misplaced spine crawlers out of Solo that were too close, and they were both denied. That was game then and there. That was game. That was basically the death of the hatchery, is to see both spine crawlers cancelled, which means there was no defense, which means there was no saving the low ground. GG. GG, well played. Ryung, he does take a lead in the series, and now we're getting into game number 2. Again, 2-rax, proxy 2-rax should never be killing the natural base. Like, that should not be happening. For that to happen, like, that is game-ending damage. Just because, again, it's not an all-in. Like, you're building up behind it, you're getting your own expansion, your own tech. And here we go. We're getting into game number 2. Now, I don't expect to see that same build again out of Ryung, right? It's like we don't really expect to see it multiple times in the series. You don't want to rely on that kind of play. So we've seen it once, should be one and done. And now we're loading into Pylon. Ooh, a very small map in the map pool. Does favor aggression. This goes both ways. There are aggressive options here for Solar as well. But here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Vitality, leading the series 1-0. It is Ryung. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And Ryung is opening up 2x Reaper on the low ground. Okay. So we're going for the low ground response. I would say this is risky. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, 2x Reaper is a very aggressive build. If he elicits an aggressive response out of Solar, though, Solar, he should be able to deal with this. He should be able to deflect, shut this down, and has the potential to counterattack and snowball out of control. So we'll see if Solar stays in gas. That is the big tell for us, is that, is he going to get link speed? Oh, he's going gasless. Oh, okay, never mind. He's going hatch, pool, late gas. He's going for a very late gas geyser, which means delayed link speed, delayed tech, delayed counterattack instead. I'm favoring Byun here in the early game. This isn't like game ending. This isn't like game here and now. It just means that Ryung is going to be very safe. It means that, again, late link speed, late bailing bust, late roaches, like the tech that Solo is going to be working towards is going to be delayed because he's being greedy. And Ryung can look to punish. Now, the spawning pool is early, so I say punish. Ryung can contain Solar. Queens are early here. Because the pool is early, it means queen production is early, which means he should be getting into a 3rd and 4th queen faster, so he should be secure on 2 bases. But maintaining and getting a 3rd base is going to be more of a challenge. The Overlord does confirm. Reapers move out. Reapers, they move out across the map. And again, Ryung, he should be investing into 3 Reapers, only 3, and then just contain. He pokes in, Queen pops out. Gets 1 Zergling, and from here, Ryung should just be checking for a 3rd base. CC on the high ground? Okay. What are we doing? CC on the high ground, bold move. Ryung was trying to be cheeky and trying to force an overreaction. He was trying to make it look like he was skipping his 3rd and going for a 3-max. But Sola scouted, so Sola knows. Again, the mind games out of Ryung. Crazy. Meanwhile, we have our 2 queens. Yes, we do some extra damage to the queen, but it should be fine. Reaper barely pulls away. And again, Ryung is just containing the Zerg player. And with these mind games, Ryung is double expanding. That is a 3rd command center. Hyper greed out of Ryung. Meanwhile, look at Solar. Solar, what does he do with his first wave of gas? Skips link speed, doesn't go roaches, rushing into a 320 lair timing. This is an insanely fast lair, and he's still mining gas. Ooh, and I was curious, is this going to be 2-base Muta, or are we going to go into roaches? We have the answer. Hidden roach horn behind the base, extra gases are being taken. This looks like the setup for a roach all-in, as we will have access to really fast either roach speed or Nidus. Or drop lords. True. So again, insanely fast lair. Now, Ryung early on is perfectly fine, he's perfectly safe. That was the downside of going for a delayed gas build, is that Ryung, he's able to freely just set up on 2 bases. But is this 3rd base too greedy? We do need Banshee production as quickly as possible. Banshees are amassing, thankfully here for Ryung. He pulls back the Raxes, he floats them into the main base to make sure that they are safe. Hellions poke in, and Ryung, he has to get into the main base. If he can see the timing of the lair, that would be a massive tell. And you can see, what is the lair for? Really fast roach speed. So really fast roach speed here out of Solar. He's massing up roaches as we speak, and he's getting ready for that roach timing. Not just that, Overlord speed, all in. Solar is going for the all in. What does Overlord speed mean? That means drop lords. So we're building up into drop lords. It's going to be a roach queen all in from the side of Solar. Ryung, he sees the roaches, he sees the late 3rd. He has an idea of what's happening. What does he need? Bunkers. We need bunkers back at home. We need tank production as well. Now, the reason why Ryung is vulnerable here, not just because there's like an all-in that's coming that Ryung hasn't confirmed, the production. His Raxes are safe, but the factory is not. And the factory is so crucial because he needs that tank production, whereas this factory should be one of the main targets for the push. For the all-in. Solar's moving out. Here come the Dropper Lords. Solar, he's droning behind this? Oh, he is not committing. He's not committing, he's not doubling down. Solar is droning. Whereas otherwise, this could have been Ling reinforcements, like Ling reinforcements or more roaches. So Solar, his heart isn't really in this push. He is getting on top of the factory though, as you mentioned. Again, that factory is a prime target. Tank volley does go up. Tech lab goes down. The add-ons are falling. Boys are being pulled. Contamination on the factory, let's go! Very nice contamination. Snaps the depot. Doesn't quite supply block. But again, with only one tank, it is a tough hold. And behind all of this, Solar's droning up as hard as he can. He's droning up as hard as he can. He's taking an economic lead. Infestation bits on the way. That's going to be for Hive Tech or for safety infestors, most likely. Second tank finally arrives. Now Ryung repositions his production. But again, this is a shaky start here for Ryung. Gets a Ravager. Banshees counterattack. There are Queens at home to defend. Queens are ready. And Solar takes an economic lead. It will take that lead. The fourth base is on the way. We have the Hive in production as well. They're the safety infestors, so Ryung, he really shouldn't be able to push anytime soon. If he does, he should lose the army. And ideally on Pylon, you do want to be aggressive. You want the momentum on your side. Ryung doesn't really have much. Hello. Those are not medevacs. So we're going into Reactor Liberators. Interesting. He is landing his third base. 1-1 is almost done. And now just going for drop play. And we'll see if Ryung can recover. So he's got a double drop on the right-hand side, and he will have Liberators potentially moving out towards the left. Link speed just now finished up. We have plus on melee, rushing into Ultras. Ultras, that is the end game here for Solar. He does threaten a dive. Dropping into the main. Infest is out of position. Yeah, you can see Solar rallying into the main base. He will get here in time. Here comes the main push with Liberators. Let's go. Ryung, his army supply is actually comparable to that of Solar, if not better, just because Solar has inflated supply with the Roaches. Bailing speed is almost done. Solar, he's investing quite heavily here into the Ultras, but this push is designed to kill before the Ultra Tech. Ryung, he's 8 Raxes, right? Oh no, not quite. Doing this with 5 Raxes. Files. Ooh, they connect. They connect with the Marines, they connect with the Liberator. At the same time, a massive being run by. SCVs are going down. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for Solar. Solar, he's maxed out. Plus max. Files, they once again connect. They shut down the Liberator. Ryung, he does get on top of the expansion, but I mean, Solar, he's happy to just throw this away. No, Solar is being patient. being patient. Now he's got ultras. Ryung, he has no answer to them. I mean, he has liberators, which is okay, I guess. He has marauders, but no ghosts. No ghosts, no snipes. Pressure is very much so on Ryung. Drops into the main. Drops in. Solar, his ultra upgrades, I believe, are done. Yeah, he has kindness plating. Ultra speed has finished up as well. Alright, I forgot about it. Do we have Microbial Shroud? No. Unfortunately, no Microbial Shroud. But I don't think he needs it. Yeah, he moves in, the plows. Oh, they shut down one of the libs. Nice tungles. Waiting as they crash in. Oh my god. More liberators going down. Ryung, he does maintain most of his bio army at least. Does hold. He does hold, drop across the map. Nice defense there out of Ryung. And he is counterattacking. Nice bar. Saves the queen. Let's go. Save the queen. Ryung, he gets across the map, takes down the expansion at least. Just not quite connecting. And there's two, soon to be 4 ultras. 4 ultras have popped. One of them is tied up. Ryung, he has a decent spread, but there's just so much on the ground. Yeah, the ultras overwhelm. Ultras overwhelm the army. They shut down the tanks. They clean up the bio. And that was all that Ryung had. That was all that he had left. Oof. Spiles, they catch the Liberator and the Banshee. And slowly snowballing out of control. There's nothing left back. We got some Marines. We got some Marauders. But again, Ryung, he wasn't really built for a longer game like this. Not with this setup. Could never really handle a high-tech army. So Ultras, they get into the main. Lings, they eviscerate the third. And everything's on fire. Everything's flashing red. On the vials. They get the final Liberator. GG gets called. And Solar will tap the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We are tied up. Again, Ryung had a really shaky start. He went 2-Max Reaper and he did contain Solar on 2 bases, but he failed to scout the main. He never got in. He never went into the main base. He never saw the early lair timing. Remember, it was a 320 lair timing, insanely early lair for Solar, going into early Roach speed, into early Dropper Lords as well. And we saw that Ryung, he just wasn't really set up to defend. He did have a more exposed production setup, more exposed factory, more exposed starports. He only got the 1 tank. With only 1 tank, he could not deflect. And he was just contained for so long, allowing Solar to drone, allowing Solar to drone up, to macro out of it, and GG. GG, well played. Whew. With that, we are now loading into game number 3. We have a back and forth here, and we are expecting, once again, a different build out of Ryung. Oh boy. So game 1, he went Proxy 2-Rax. Game 2, he went 2-Rax Reaper. Game 3... we're loading into Tokamak. Tokamak is the most defensive map in the map pool. Very large map as well, known for longer games. If there were a map to play mech on, this would be one of them. We'll see. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran, we have the South Korean Terran for Team Vitality. It is Ryung. And spawning in the top right-hand corner. Oh, as Ryung is opening up 2-Rank Reaper again. Okay. In the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player. The blue Zerg player himself from South Korea, representing Team Falcons, tying up the series. It is Solar. Here we go. So we do have Ryung going for the same opener 2 games in a row, going for 2 Rax Reaper. Technically, we could throw down a 3rd Rax behind this in the main, so he could commit a little bit harder. Meanwhile, Solar, we'll see if he does skip his gases again. I would say it's it's viable to skip your gases here on Tokamak. As he is going hatch, gas pool, standard opener. Okay, so standard opener here out of Solar. This time he doesn't skip his gases. Meanwhile, 2 Max Reaper here out of Ryung. We can see Solar checking for proxy. It is standard to send your first Overlord across the map. Solar, he actually goes for a bit of a detour. He checks the proxy location first, going for a delayed scat across the map. So it's going to be a later realization that this is 2x. Oh. Sorry, no gases. Okay, Ryung. It is a different build every game. So far, every game in the series, different opener. Let's go. No gases, 2x Marine instead. With this, he's able to wall off really quickly. He's able to build up a Marine count really quickly as well. And this can lead into a 4x. This can lead into a 2-1-1. Where are you taking us exactly? Oh, he wants the Overlord. The Overlord isn't even there. The Overlord is late. Because the initial opener. Ryung, he's hunting for the Overlord. He's looking, he doesn't find it. So very fortunate for Solar that he went for a bit of an odd kind of way in. And we're going, okay, 2 racks into a 3rd CC. Hyper greed here from Ryung. Very greedy. Now, what is greedy about this? Because there's no gas income, because there's no gas geysers, that tells me that we have a boosted mineral economy, tells me that we have the faster 3rd CC, faster than normal. So again, we're cutting a lot of corners here. Is Ryung. The bold move. Bold move. Chat, do you just straight up have to go Ghost and have good snipe micro to kill Ultras as Terran? It depends, but yes. If your opponent is able to amass a large amount of Ultras, then yes, you do typically need Ghost. Ghost Liberator. Early on, when there are only a handful of Ultras, you can get away with sticking with a bio composition that's very Marauder heavy. So you can get away with it, but as time goes on, like, you do need to have that transition. As a reminder, when it came to the last game, Ryung had a really subpar economy just because of the early Roach aggression. So Ryung was behind economically, so being able to afford Ghosts wasn't really a possibility there for Ryung, just because of how the game had progressed. But yes, typically in a longer game, you do require your Ghosts. Going into really fast double eBay before the factory. Again, the greed here is crazy. So 2 racks opener into a really fast 3rd CC, into an incredibly fast double upgrade setup here into a 3rd racks. Now, based on what we're seeing here, it feels like this leads into an incredibly fast 2-1-1. Sorry, 2-2 timing here with double upgrades with an 8 racks. This looks like the beginning of an 8 racks. We've seen a lot of 8 racks out of Maru, out of Byeon, and out of Maru, out of Byeon, out of all the Korean Terrans, and this does feel like the beginning of that. We'll see if this is going to be the case. But that 2-2 upgrade timing is going to hit very hard, just because of how quickly we have the eBays up and running. Meanwhile, Solar's in the dark. Solar, he does open up +1 carapace. Ooh, bit of a misread. So the reason why we have the early Evo chamber into early +1 carapace into the delayed lair and delayed banelings is because this is designed to be done in time to defend against a 2-1-1. But remember, this is not a 2-1-1. A 2-1-1 is a stim timing with Medivacs, but remember, the starport isn't even complete. There's no starport on the way. There's no factory even done yet, because we're not going for a drop play. It's hyper greed out of Ryung, which means Solar didn't have to rush into this +1 upgrade. Instead, we could have seen a faster lair, into banelings, into 1-1, instead of just purely carapace. So this is a bit of a misread here from the Zerg. But I don't blame him. The problem is, of course, that Solar hasn't gone into the main. He just hasn't confirmed what's happening. He only knows that there are 2 Raxes and that there's stim. So I don't blame Solar for this response. It makes sense based on what he's seen, but again, it's just a crazy build out of Ryung. It's a crazy build. So far, we're building up to 5 Raxes, and again, we're expecting 3 more. at least from what we've seen so far, we're expecting 2-2, Armory's almost done, into an 8-rack setup. An 8 racks is a 3 base all-in where you get up to 8 racks, where you don't take your gases at the 3rd base and you build up to just mass marine with a strong upgrade timing. This looks like a Maru build. Like this. There it is. Yeah, count them with me. 3 extra racks is 8 racks. So 3 base all in, 8 racks, 2-2 timing. Again, this hits like a truck. And Solar is still unaware. He's rushing into the early infestation bit. This is a double-edged sword. Going into early infestors can be quite useful. Can be very useful here. Solar, he knows that something is wrong. Basically, there's been no aggression, right? There's been no aggression. There has been no drop play. So Solar knows that something isn't quite right. Something isn't adding up. Clearly, it was not a 2-1-1. As this move out is very delayed. So I like the safety, potentially I like the safety infestors. With fungals. There's a skin reveals the infestation bit. Marines, they get one of the queens. Remember, bailing speed is delayed because the lair was delayed, so no bailing speed here. Ryung pulls away. He's making 12 Marines at a time. Again, we're waiting for those upgrades. Ooh, Solar, he's rushing into the hive. This is a little bit greedy. It's a little bit greedy. Against standard 8 raxes, I believe you can get away with hive tech, but against this, which there's a little bit of spice, there's a little bit of flavor to this. You know, there's some flair to this 8 racks. I'm concerned for Solar as he's investing into something that I don't think is going to come into play. Yeah, Marines are getting caught out. Here comes Ryung. He's pushing. He commits, and by the time the army gets across the map, 2-2 will be done. So 2-2 is lined up with the push. Ryung is committed. The A-Rax is upon us. Bailing speed is complete. +1 carapace +1 melee will be done in time. Now again, Ryung, he has the firepower, but he has to be so careful not to get surrounded. Solar's going for a counterattack. Solar tries to engage. Oof. Gets punished. The run by is moving in. Meanwhile, we do see Ryung just rally everything across the map. He wants to end the game. Solar, he cannot engage. He's trying to buy time. Catching reinforcements. Distracting Ryung. Trying to cause a distraction. Tanks are moving in. Oh no, he clumps. Yeah, Ryung does clump up. Bailings, they do move forward. Decent connections. Yeah, the Bailings, they connect better than they should have. Ryung takes a lot of losses there. That should not have happened, but GG gets caught. He has too much anyway, and Ryung, he breaks through. He takes a lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a very spicy build out of Ryung. This was not a standard 8 racks. This was like a boosted 8 racks with a very fast 3rd TC, really fast double upgrade timing with the faster double E base as well. Just a lot of greed there out of Ryung. And again, it does hit quite hard. Unfortunately, as we were emphasizing, Solar initially he thought it was a 2-1-1 opener. That was not the case, so he had a bit of a shaky start. And as you saw, he got a hive and he had an ultra cavern on the way. Too greedy. We have seen some players get away with hive tech and get away with an ultra timing against 8 raxes, but this was not a standard 8 racks. So GG. GG, well played. Ryung, he does overwhelm, he does break through. Even though he took a pretty, I would say a pretty shaky fight, because it took some massive bailing shots to the face, it was still enough. It was still enough to break and to overwhelm. GG. Whew. GG, well played with that. Ryung, he does take a lead in the series, and Ryung, he needs one more game to claim the series and to advance on to the main event. Here we go. Seeing like an early GG, there was nothing to defend at home, unfortunately. Unfortunately, so if the game had progressed, there were 0 Bailings to defend because all the Ling Bane had been spent, so there would only be Lings rallying in, and they were 1-2 Lings against a 2-2 bio tank. So there's like technically there, unless Ryung made some like crazy like mistakes and like had no splits and had no spread and played like a weaker player, then like sure there was maybe a chance, but like In that kind of scenario, like Ryung should just A move. He should just be able to A move in. Because there were like 0 banelings available. 0 banelings, 0 lings. Whew. But GG. GG, well played. With that, we're now getting into our next game. Into potentially the final game of the series. But again, that was a crazy build. And again, we've seen a different opener every game. Different opener every single game. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Maganatha, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran. We have the Red Terran representing Team Vitality, leading the series 2-1. It is Ryung. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Here we go. See in chat, he had enough if he didn't counter. I don't think I would say that statement, just because if he didn't have that counterattack, that means that Ryung has more rallying across the map. He doesn't have a delayed rally. More importantly though, that means that there's less of a chance that Ryung messes up the fight. If you remember, that fight across the map at the fourth base of Solar was as close as it was because Ryung did have some miscontrol. If you remember, he was late, he clumped up his army, he was late to spread, he was late to split as well. And you could make an argument there that the reason for that was because of the counterattack, was because he was distracted trying to defend back at home at the same time. So if you're saying that he can focus all of his attention and micro on that fight, then there should be less of a chance of that happening as well. So that's why I wouldn't necessarily say that with certainty. Definitely there could have been a different outcome if he didn't counterattack, or it could have been the same outcome. Like other factors, like other things would have been influenced by that if there was no run by. But here we go. Here we go. We have a standard open for the first time. A standard open. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. Racks expand into a third CC. We have 0 units, by the way. That's an insanely fast third CC, even faster than last game. Last game, I already thought he was crazy. That is CC before the Marine. Oh my god. So hyper greed out of Ryung. Now, how can he afford this? No gas. 0 gas geysers here out of Ryung, no Reaper. Because there's no gases, he has a boosted mineral income, he has excess minerals to work with. That's how he can afford this, but this is very greedy here by Ryung. So Ryung is cutting a lot of corners. Now, the downside of going for this faster TC, look at the vision. I mean, this is also hyper greed. No scouting, 0 scouting information. If Solar was going for a roach rush, that's just game. That's just GG. Like if Solar was going for something aggressive, if he was going for something cheesy, if this was Dark, for example, I mean, you'd never do this against Dark because of that. But like if you had a more aggressive player that you were playing against, then they could just get into whatever they wanted unscouted. So this is very risky and very greedy here from Ryung. Thankfully, standard play. Hatch gas pull into a third base, pulls out of gas. Solar, he has no aggressive potential, and Ryung, he rolls the dice basically. He rolls the dice and he rolls well. The gamba was real back and it pays off. But you could also argue as well that it's like a calculated gamble. I bring this up every now and then. Out of all the Korean Zerg players, unfortunately, okay, he's still going for a rich follow-up, but unfortunately, Solar, he's the least aggressive. I'm talking about Dark, who's now retired. I'm talking about Shin, talking about Rogue. Like, what? We're going. It's hyper greed into mech. Oh god, that is disgusting. If you remember, we were alluding to mech on Tokamak. There's a reason why we brought it up. We didn't get mech on Tokamak. We're getting mech on Maganatha instead. But hyper greed into mech is brutal. Oh god. But what I was getting at is that, again, it is really risky to do this against a more aggressive Zerg player like Dark, like Shin, like Rogue. Against Solar, it feels more calculated. Solar is going for an early Roach Warren, that is true, but he's not going for a Roach Rush. This is not like this shouldn't be for a Roach all-in. He has 6 Roaches on the way, 7 Roaches. We'll see if he commits into more than 9. If he commits into more than 9, then we can talk about Solar killing. And he's going for all-in. Let's go. He's going for the all-in. Ryung, he's still in the middle of being greedy. This is the army. 1 Marine, 2 Hellions. This is it. This is the army, and Solar is all-inning. Thankfully, he has the killer instinct to recognize how greedy he's been, because with the Link Scout, he saw the CC, he saw the setup, he saw the lack of anything. He's going for the all-in. Solar, he should kill. This should kill Ryung. Like, again, this is the army. We got what, 2 Hellions? No, 4. Okay, we got 4 Hellions, 2 of them are across the map. He sees the army, he can't do anything. Like, what can he do here? So we got 4 Hellions, 2 Marines. Lings, they can win for this round. They catch 2 of the Hellions instantly. And Solar, he should be able to end the game here. He's pushing in towards the natural. Boys are being pulled. I like the greed out of Ryung, but just a little bit too far. Just a little bit too far. I mean, the Hellions are doing a lot of damage here to the Lings. The Lings are clumping up. Lock-ons here onto the Roaches. More boys are being pulled. That choke point is brutal. The Lings, they barely make it through, though. Yeah, they do make it through. They bust into the natural. Full surround. GG gets called. We're going to the ace match. If you're in the chat, this build is illegal. Do not try it at home. Do not try it at home. Aye, aye, aye. You can maybe get away with it on the ladder, but that was a crazy build out of Ryung. Jesus. Just hyper greed, 0 scouting. Thankfully, again, Solar punish. Solar, he punished the greed. Whew. GG, well played. We're going to game 5. We're going to game 5. Hi, hi, hi. Catching up. CC first into 3rd, CC before gas into 5 factory. Yes, it's illegal, papi. It's illegal. Do not try it at home. You will lose all the MMR. I mean, you can maybe get away with it at lower levels, I guess, if your opponent's hyper passive. True, but still, like, crazy, papi, crazy. Let's go. He deserved it. Real, yeah. As you mentioned, you know, lock him up, papi. Lock him up. Throw away the key. We're getting into game 5. Getting into game 5. And we'll see how the story ends. See in the chats. Is Dark retired? Yes, yes. Dark is doing his military service. It's in the military. He only went at the start of the year, so it's still going to be quite some time until Dark returns to us. But here we go. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Torches, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Vitality being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is Ryung. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And it is very standard. Oh, I was going to say to go gasless here on Torches, and that is going to be the case. So we do have our 15-15. We're expecting a spawning pool, and we're expecting delayed gases here out of Solar. If that is confirmed, then we'll be getting into the reasoning for this and the rationale as well. Meanwhile, we'll see how Ryung does open up, as he does take a gas. Does take a gas. Meanwhile, Solar, yep, gases. So gases open out of Solar. So quickly discussing this, this is a build that was very trendy last year and coming into EWC as well, especially in the previous map pool. But going gases like this is more viable on a map like Torches. We would often see this on El Dorado, if you recall back in the day, El Dorado and some of the other maps out there as well. Basically, on this map, it is very easy to... Crimson Court, that's it. Crimson Court, true, we also saw this quite often, but it is very easy to wall up and wall off on Torches, on 3 bases. How do you harass the 3rd? As the opposing Terran player, you have to mine through these patches, or you have to break down these tumors. Early on, it's not really reasonable to expect that, so you can wall off at the ramp, and then you're perfectly safe on 3 bases. So you don't need link speed. You do not need link speed. You can defend with purely SimCity and Queens, and just wall up, wall off with Queens, and be hyper greedy. So that is the goal, that is the plan for Solar. As a result, no link speed. We're skipping link speed entirely, and this typically leads into roach play. And again, this is very common specifically on Torches because of the ramp and because of how safe your 3rd base is. It was the same on El Dorado and... oh, nice go on the SUV. But it was the same on El Dorado and some of those other maps that I mentioned, like Crimson Court. Meanwhile, for the first time, standard opener out of Ryung. So what I appreciate is, like, regardless of the outcome of this series, what I love out of Ryung, if you notice, he has done something different every game. Every single game he has gone for a different build. Here, this is the most standard build that we've seen. This is a standard build, just going into Rax, Expand, Factory into 3rd CC, but he's doing it for the first time. So I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Something different out of Ryung every game. Oh, 3cc 2-on-1. Okay, that is a second Rax before Starport. So this is going to be a bit of a delayed stim timing with Medivacs. Now, because this is the 3cc variation, you do actually make a pair of Hellions, I believe up to 4. So 4 Hellions into Starport, into Addle Swap, into Medivacs. There is a variation of this build where you do go into Banshee play and you go for delayed Medivacs, but we'll see if Ryung does go for that. As there's that sim, Add-on Swap. So again, we're going for that early stim timing. Now, this is more delayed compared to a regular 2-on-1 because of the 3rd CC, right? The 3rd base does kind of delay this that much more. So it's more of an economic variation. Meanwhile, gas is not being taken. Link speed is not being forgotten. Okay, so going into link speed here tells us that maybe we're not playing roaches. Usually we skip link speed, we go straight for the roach warren, and we go into a roach heavy composition. That is not the case here. We're going into Link Bane. Oh, okay. So Link Bane is going to be the go-to for Solar. I would say it's possible, because I'm not used to seeing this variation, but it's possible that specifically this patch, because of the buff to the Baneling, that this is more viable here. Okay. As of course the Baneling does have 5 extra HP, which is pretty impactful. Especially in ZVT. I mean, in most matchups. Solar, he's not droning. Oh boy, that now we see why he's going for the Baneling. Now we see why he's going for Link Speed. It's because he's going for an all-in. Ah, okay. Now it makes more sense. No drones, no saturation here at the 3rd base. And again, the reason why this works so well, as we mentioned, how do you scout? Like the Hellions, they're poking in at the natural. They do not have access to the 3rd base. So Ryung, he doesn't see that there's no saturation. Otherwise, Hellions would typically be applying pressure here to scout. So Ryung, he sees nothing. He sees nothing. Ryung, he's expanding. Ryung is in the dark. Here comes the Bane Bust. And Ryung has, if he knew what was coming, we'd see bunkers, right? We'd see bunkers being set up. He's going across the map. He won't have anything to defend. He's going for his 2-on-1. And again, he just has no information. He has no information. Here comes the Bane Bust. And Ryung has nothing to defend. This should just be game. This should just be game here. As the wall is going to be broken. Heads into the natural. The natural is exposed. There's 2 Marines to defend. Ryung gets across the map, but there are Queens. Breaks into the main. And Lings, there's flooding to the main base as well. There's 1 tank in the main. Trying to hold on. The double drop, it races back. But this is just brutal damage. And again, it was a crazy series. Went all the way to the ace match. A bit of an anticlimactic end here, but again, Ryung, he just didn't see the all-in coming. Because of the map itself, he just didn't see the lack of saturation. And that is 37 SCV kills. 37 SCVs. I wanted to see a back and forth mid-game with Biotank versus Link Bane, but I mean, we still kind of might get there, but again, Ryung, he's crippled. Ryung, he's crippled. He's down to 16 SCV. He's down to less than a 1 base economy, Pappy. Ay. He cannot land his 3rd, and there is just nothing here. Not anymore. It's just nothing here. And again, it was a cheeky build here by Solar, and it's something that's more viable specifically on this map. Once again, like everything that we saw at a Solar is designed for torches, just because of the hyper greed earlier and because of the all-in follow-up. It is that much more difficult to scout on this map. And I would say this is a little bit less on Ryung in a sense. If you remember, last game on Maganatha, it was on Ryung because he was being hyper greedy and he failed to scout. Here on Torches, it's just more difficult to scout, like just as a byproduct of the map itself. As Lings get into the mineral line. Ryung does him in. We have Bailey's speed on the way. Soul just has to play it safe. Gets us around. Nice spread here by Ryung, but the tank should fall. Yeah, takes down the tank, pulls away at the same time. Lings Ignite any kind of mining here at the natural. And right now, Ryung, he's fueled by Hopium. Yeah. Oh, the Hopium. Oh, the code. Not like this. And again, I don't blame him. Like, Ryung, he had a really impressive series here. I don't think many people in the chat probably assumed that Ryung would win this, let alone have a lead in the series, let alone be one game away from winning the series as well in a best of 5. Like, I was very impressed by Ryung's play. To bring it in and to potentially like defeat Solar here. Crazy play out of Ryung. And I would hope that Ryung still makes it through as GG gets called. GG gets called. Solar, he will qualify for the RSL Season 3 main event. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Solar, he does claim the series, and again, a crazy back and forth. If you missed out, if you only watched the tail end of this, I highly recommend the VODs because this had everything. We got a lot of variety. We got a lot of variety here in this series. Again, shout out to Ryung. Ryung, he went for a different build every single game. Went for a different build, went for a different style. Really cool to see that diverse play out of Ryung, and Solar had a really hard time keeping up with the diversity that Ryung was showing off. So GG, well played, very impressive play there by Ryung. Almost claimed the series, but again, the last 2 games just came down to lack of information, lack of scouting. That was the case for both game 4 and game number 5, as it looked like Solar had just had enough. He was like, I'm done, I've had enough. Send it, man, he said that. Meanwhile, thank you so much to Comecieto in the chat, Comecieto, and likewise thank you so much to Svaguts as well. Thank you so much for resubscribing for 9 months and for 7 months respectively. Hope you enjoy the content, hope you enjoy the casting, hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. Ryung isn't making it from the qualifiers, maybe gets a fan vote. I mean, I would not say that with certainty just because there is another qualifier. If you remember, there's still the European qualifier available. We'll get into that now, I suppose. So congratulations to Solar, and congratulations to Creator as well, as they're the 2 players to make it through into that main event. And let us catch up with the entirety of the event as well. Oh, let's go. Let us go. Hold on, I just gotta set up the scene. Gotta set up. So we can have a look together here. So today, so far, we have casted 2 qualifiers. There's 1 qualifier remaining, the European qualifier. And once again, I should emphasize that these qualifiers are not region locked, they are server qualifiers. So despite the fact that it's called a European qualifier, it's a European server qualifier. So Koreans can and most likely will still be able to compete in them to have another chance to make it through into the main event. Just as a heads up. Likewise, un momento here. Bam, bam. There we go. Okay, from the top. So here we have the players competing in the RSL Season 3 main event. From Season 2, we have our invitees. We have the top players from Season 2. We have 3 Protoss. We have Classic, Trigger, and Xeon making it through from Season 2. So we have some NA representation there alongside some hefty Protoss players. From Season 4 Terran, we have, Season 2 Terran, we have 4 of them. We have Bjorn, Cure, and Maru, so we have 3. We have Bjorn, Kieran, Maru, and for Zerg we have Raynor and Shin. So we do have a little bit of European representation as well. So we have 3 Protoss, 3 Terran, and 2 Zerg making it through from Season 2. Then we had this morning the Americas qualifier. I do recommend the VODs. We did cast that, of course, here on the channel. That was earlier today. We had Hero making it through alongside Bunny. And of course, in the Korean qualifier, we just had Creator and Solar. We still have 1 qualifier left, the European qualifier. We still have the European qualifier here for 2 more players. Again, the European server qualifier. So we could be seeing some more players like Ryung advance on or take part. Percival as well. I'm sure they will consider staying up to compete in that. Or likewise, of course, other European players as well have the opportunity. Your Showtimes, your Max Paxes, and others. I think Max Pax might not be able to compete in this event just because there is an offline finals, right? And if Max Pax, if he performs too well to the point where he might make it to that event, like, you have to be able to commit to something that's offline. So that might be a deterrent for someone like Max Pax. Likewise, Clem, true. I know that Clem has been taking some time off, so we'll see if Clem shows up for the European qualifier. We'll see, as he was not a part of the previous event. So we shall see. And likewise, bam, fan votes. That's another part. After all the qualifiers conclude, all the players that were a part of the qualifiers but did not make it into the event are going to be added to a list, and that list is going to be given out, of course, to the Patreons, and they'll be able to vote on who they want to take part in the tournament. So there's going to be a fan vote portion as well after the European qualifier, where 2 more players can be added. So that is going to be another part of said event as well. Oh boy. So we're just catching up. Just catching up in the chat. But thank you, Super Goods. Thank you. Thank you. And como Seto as well. Thank you. The girl caster. Like, me gusta forever. Gracias, papi. Gracias. Why are Koreans coming through for the Americas? As we mentioned, it is a server qualifier. Server qualifier. Not region locked. Might be Cyril in the EU qualifier too, but who knows? I don't think Cyril played in any RSL event this year, right? Did he play in season 1? I don't think so. I'll double check. But yeah, I don't think Cyril I don't think he competed in any of them. So at this point, if he didn't have interest in season 1 or season 2, then I don't see him playing in season 3. Yeah, he forfeited in season 1. He was invited, but then he was forfeited. Then he forfeited. But I would imagine Clem would compete if he's currently. Yeah. I'd imagine that Clem would compete. Like, he was a part of season 1, so I can imagine him taking part in the qualifiers for season 2. I would imagine. Sorry, for season 3. I'm pretty sure the reason why he wasn't in season 2 was he was on vacation at the time. He went to Croatia, right? Was it Croatia or Greece? It was one of the two. But he did go on vacation post EWC. What's the point of these open server qualifiers? Because they give an edge to the respective region. They give the server preference, and they also have a better time slot and a time zone for that region as well. So that region has an advantage, but it doesn't lock you to that kind of region. That makes sense. Don't get why you do it without region locking. Well, because it gives them an edge, but it doesn't exclude the rest of the regions from competing. I mean, it's the tournament organizers, like, it's up to them. If they really wanted to, they could, like, fully region lock, but like they still want, I'm sure they still want, like, a more diverse, like, array. I say diverse array, they still want, like, the best of the best available. Just giving an edge to said region is as far as they're willing to go. RSL, I mean, it's their choice not to have the full region lock. Yeah. With that, we are going to be wrapping up. With that, thanks so much for watching, thanks so much for tuning in. All right, when it comes to our coverage of RSL, we are going to attempt to cast the European qualifier. That's in 2 days. Oh, right. Sorry. My apologies. I should show the schedule. I mean, the schedule doesn't help too much. We just wrapped up with our evening cast of RSL. You can see it here, Saturday evening. 3 casts today. We had Platinum StarCraft League into RSL America's qualifier, into the Korean qualifier, and tomorrow we're going to be in less than 24 hours. We're going to be live with Sparkling Tuna Cup. That is going to be tomorrow in less than 24 hours. After Tuna Cup is when RSL European qualifiers are scheduled. It's going to be after Tuna Cup. I'm very tentative on that one. We might cover it, we might not. It depends on how much time we have available in between casts, in between Tuna Cup and the European qualifiers. So I'm a little bit tentative on the EU qualifier, just as a heads up. But I believe, you know, Gemini and some of the other casters should be covering that event regardless. When it comes to the main event, last season we did co-stream the playoffs, and most likely we're going to do that again. Most likely we won't really touch the group stage. We will be co-streaming the playoffs. Obviously, Tasteless, States, Gemini, Ziggy, and Sturgeon, I believe they're all going to be, you know, casting from the studio. I believe they're all going to be covering the main event themselves, of course. They have allowed for co-streaming, and we are going to be co-streaming the playoffs at least. We won't quite co-stream the group stage just because there's all these other tournaments going on that we're going to be fixated on and we're going to be focusing on instead. Just as a heads up when it comes to the season of RSL. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Again, really fun games, really exciting series. If you only caught a portion of it, I do recommend the VODs. Exclamation mark socials in the chat. Exclamation mark socials, you will get a link to the YouTube channel, to YouTube, to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, TikTok, all things CranKy Ducklings. We are live all over the place. And again, if you see something that you like, but if you can't watch it live, then check out the VODs as we upload on YouTube on a daily basis. We have plenty of content, plenty of VODs. We cast more than anyone else out there. We have all the content, we have the quantity, and we have a little bit of the quality as well. I said this before, but this year, post EWC, as we're getting into the off season, I'm trying to slow things down a little bit. So we have been casting a little bit less than usual. Usually we cast twice a day, every single day. As you can see here, we have some days where we only have like 1 cast, or like for Friday, it kind of like bled into Saturday. But we have been slowing things down a little bit here, partially because I have some bunnies. I have some pet bunnies. I had a camera earlier with Bunny Cam, but the camera broke. Smooch. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Camera did break, unfortunately, so no bunny cam here, but I'll work on getting a new one. Work on getting another one, I should say. So we'll try to get that up and running again. But yeah, because of that, I've been spending a little bit more time doing other things, of course. I started my own raised garden beds. I've been touching grass outside like an animal, instead of just 100% purely casting StarCraft. For the past 5 years, that's all I've been doing, is just hyper fixated on just casting non-stop StarCraft. I'd wake up, cast StarCraft, have a nap, wake up, cast more StarCraft, have a nap, and just rinse and repeat, like since 2020 essentially. So now we're slowing things down a little bit, so I can actually sleep more than 6 or 4 hours. Crazy, I know, it's crazy. So just as a heads up, if you're seeing a little bit less CranKy Ducklings, that's the reason why. Just trying to slow things down, trying to take a bit of a break, and maybe stretch our legs a little bit more than previously. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much for the support. If you want to support us monetarily, you can do so via Patreon. Exclamation mark Patreon in the chat. You can actually see it just below the schedule on the right hand side. We currently earn 563 USD a month via Patreon, and all that money goes towards our events. Specifically, it goes towards our weekly tournaments and our monthly tournaments as well, and you can help us grow those tournaments with bigger prize pools as well via Patreon. We're very transparent. If you go to our Patreon, it's all broken down there, the amount of money that goes towards Tuna Cup, that goes towards Seed Lightning Open, and that goes towards Master Swan Open as well. It's all broken down there. It is all going towards the tournaments, of course, and you can help us grow it even further. Ideally, the goal would be to be able to produce monthlies, as in monthly finals. We currently do host monthly finals for Tuna Cup, but it is because of a very generous donator in the chat. We got $2,000 donated. It was crazy. We got a big 2K USD donation, and we're putting all of that towards the monthly finals prize pools. So that's why we have a monthly finals for September, October, November, and December. So for 4 months, we have monthly finals. Thanks to that generous donation, of course. It's 500 USD for each tournament, so 2K in total. all towards that. I would love to, coming into January of 2026, I would love to be able to continue to run events like that and have monthly finals like that, but it comes down to the Patreon. Comes down to the Patreon to be self-sustaining. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. If you want to support us, you can. Otherwise, follow us, watch us. That's all that we ask for. And with that, gonna go get some rest, and we'll be back tomorrow with Sparkling Tuna Cup. Hey, with our tournament. And I believe this Tuna Cup, by the way, speaking of monthlies, is the October finals. Yeah, is gonna be the October finals here. I should actually show that off. There's so much to show off. True. But yes, it is going to be the monthly finals. Hold on. Do we already have? Oh, we already have a confirmed. Oh, Jesus, let's go. So again, we do have a monthly finals at least until the end of the year, and very quickly, I will show it off. No, that's not what I want to show. There we go. There we go. So we do host Tuna Cups on a weekly basis, and it has been leading into a monthly finals. And you can see the monthly ranking. Here we have Björn as seeded as number 1, Christianer as 2, Hero as 3, Creator as 4, Bunny as 5, Geralt as 6, Nickrat and Percival. We had actually a 4-way tie. We had a 4-way tie here towards the end between Bunny, Geralt, Nickrat and Percival with an equaling amount of points. But this is our top 8 for the month of October, and scrolling down, this is the bracket. Bam. Oh. This is our bracket for tomorrow's tournament. We have Björn versus Percival, Creator versus Bunny, Christiana versus Nickrat, and Hero versus Geralt. Last month we had Shin to represent Zerg. Unfortunately, you know how it is with online tournaments, you know, very little Zerg representation. Solar did play in our weeklies, by the way, but Solar, he was unable to get enough points to actually be a part of this event. You gotta be a regular. You gotta be a regular here. So again, we have our top 8 players for the month of October, and they're gonna be facing off tomorrow. A lot of TVT, PvP, and PvTs for the October finals. Let's go. And again, that'll be tomorrow in less than 24 hours. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft for the Sparkling Tuna Cup October finals. See you then, papi. See you then. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi. Ciao. Hasta luego.